And good morning once again, everybody, from Tiger Stadium in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. This is Jim Henderson. Well, it's pretty amazing how the Carolina Panthers have provided some of the most significant benchmarks in Saints history. On October 20th, 1996, Jim Mora coached his last game as the Saints head coach in a 19-7 loss to the Panthers. On January 2nd, 2000, Mike Ditka coached his last game as the Saints head coach in a 45-13 loss to the Panthers. On December 29th, 2002, Jim Haslett coached his last game as the Saints head coach in a 10-6 loss to the Panthers. Now, I know, of course, he continued to coach the Saints after that, and that won't go down as the official end of his career here, but that, as I remember thinking at the time, was the beginning of the end. The end of his career here will probably come after the final 3 games of this miserable season. But that end was hastened and preordained by the events of that day, the final game of the 2002 season. With the Saints needing a victory then for the playoffs, Haslett insisted on continuing to play a subpar Aaron Brooks, while Jake Delhomme, who was the quarterback on the field at the end of the last 2 victories in that season, watched from the bench. Afterward, the head coach blasted the Saints fans who booed Aaron Brooks' introduction, implying that he might have left Brooks in the game just to show the fans that they weren't about to tell him who or who should not play. In that game in 2002, the head coach tied his future to that of the talented but erratic quarterback. In doing that, he alienated a large portion of the fan base who thought he was making a huge mistake. Jake Delhomme's leave-taking and performance since confirmed their belief. Ever since, both Brooks and Haslett had an awful lot to prove to Saints fans. They never could. In pulling the plug on Aaron Brooks this week, the head coach admitted to the mistakes he made some 3 years ago. They will probably cost him his job here. How many victories, how many playoff berths, how many fans those mistakes have cost this team since, we will never know. The pregame show will continue after these messages on the New Orleans Saints Radio Network.
Give that special person in your life the gift certificate she really wants. Escape to Spa Manhattan. Visit us at 2800 Manhattan Boulevard or spamanhattan.com. 365-7001. Escape to Spa Manhattan. It just feels right.
Your neighborhood Firestone Tire and Service Centers are excited to be part of the Point After with Bobby Hebert. Hi, I'm Mike Boone, District Manager for Firestone, South Louisiana. You win every day at Firestone by getting the lowest price on tires and a triple guarantee on our Master Care service.
It's snowing Sony at A1 Appliance and Electronics. Every Sony TV is on sale. A1 is your Sony Christmas headquarters with more Sony products than anyone in town. Make your Christmas sparkle with Sony HD big screens, LCDs, and plasma TVs. And get special no-interest financing until 2008. Give big Christmas gifts from A1 that you'll enjoy for seasons to come. And have a very merry Sony Christmas from A1 Appliance and Electronics.
What's the best way to buy auto insurance? At U.S. Agencies, the answer's easy. The best way is your way. U.S. Agencies makes buying car insurance easy and affordable. And you get to choose how. Stop by any convenient location, call them on the phone, or log on to usagencies.com. Get a quote, compare rates, even buy your policy. It's everything you need. 3 great ways. 1 great company. U.S. Agencies. Low-cost auto insurance that lets you enjoy the ride. Call them today. 928-9000.
Are you looking for lower prices on your auto parts? Well, come to O'Reilly. You'll find lower prices on top quality brand name parts every day. Our products are manufactured by the very best in the business. Wix, Monroe, Wagner, Borg-Warner, Motorcraft, Fram, Gates, Champion, Bosch, Castrol, Pennzoil, Valvoline, and the list goes on and on. Over 100,000 parts and counting. Save more at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts. The heart of the Crescent City is you. Stay connected and informed with the Big 870 WWL.
Jim Henderson, joined now by a man who's making a list and checking it twice, Hokie Gajan. Hokie, welcome to the broadcast booth, my friend.
Thank you, and it's a very short list. But
who's naughty or nice?
Today's starting lineups are brought to you by Briggs Equipment. Rapid quality forklift service is not an accident, it's a promise.
For the 9-4 Carolina Panthers, who can have sole possession of first place in the NFC South with a victory today, they open with Steve Smith having an all-pro year wide receiver, a leading leading the NFL in receptions and yards. He's got 10 touchdowns through the air, second to Marvin Harrison. He opens at one wide receiver wearing number 89. At the other wide receiver, it's Kerry Colbert. The tight end for the Panthers is Chris Mangum. Up front of Jake Delhomme, Travell Wharton at left tackle. The left guard is Mike Wall. The center, Jeff Mitchell. The right guard, former Saint Tutan Reyes. And the right tackle is Jordan Gross. As we mentioned, Jake Delhomme, the starting quarterback, and behind him he'll have as his fullback Brad Hoover, as his running back Deshaun Foster. Stephen Davis placed on IR Friday night. For the Saints defensively against that offense, the front four will be Charles Grant, Willie Whitehead, Brian Young, and Will Smith. The linebackers are Terrence Melton, starting for Cedric Hodge, who is inactive today with an ankle problem. Ron McKinnon in the middle and Colby Bachwald on the other outside. At the corners, Mike McKenzie and Fred Thomas. The strong safety is Dwight Smith, and the free safety is Josh Bullocks. For the Saints today offensively, Dante Stallworth and Joe Horn open at wide receiver with Zach Hilton, the tight end. Wayne Gandy's at left tackle. Montre Holland moves over from right guard to left guard for Kendall Jaycox, who is inactive with a knee injury. Charles Bentley is the center. Jermaine Mayberry back in there at right guard in place of Holland, who swings to the left side. Jamal Brown is the right tackle. And Todd Bauman gets his first start in the NFL since 2001, wearing number 4, the 8th-year man out of St. Cloud State. The running back is Antoine Smith, and the fullback is Mike Kearney. They'll be facing a Carolina Panther defense that's number 3 against the run, 12th against the pass, 3rd overall. Julius Peppers, Brenson Buckner, Jordan Karstens, and Mike Rucker, the talented front four, with the active linebackers Brandon Short, Dan Morgan, and Will Witherspoon behind them. The corners are Chris Gamble and Ken Lucas. Between them, they have 9 interceptions this season. The strong safety is Marlon McCree, and the free safety is Mike Mentor. Hoke, I guess the question of the day is, how well will Todd Bauman perform today? If you had to make a guess as to what sort of performance he'll have here today, what might that guess be?
I don't think it's going to be very stellar, if you ask me. I mean, he's been first snaps he's taken since the Green Bay game, and that was all mop-up duty, and he certainly didn't shine then. Didn't look particularly good in training camp. And then other than that, I mean, we haven't seen the guy all season long because we're not able to go to practice every day with the team being over in San Antonio and everything else. And I think what's going to be difficult for Todd is because the Panthers are so good against the run and the Saints don't particularly run the ball all that well, that it's going to force Todd Bauman into a lot of throws that he probably doesn't want to make because he hadn't had the speed of the game. Practice speed and playing time speed are 2 different ball games. And I think I just don't think that they can put it on his shoulders and expect him to win it. Now, hopefully, I'll be pleasantly surprised, but I really think that Todd's going to struggle today, especially when you're going against the number 3 total defense in the league. I mean, that's not what you'd call an ideal start to come out and who you'd want to have your first start against, especially a team with the ability to rush the passer like the Panthers do.
Prior to the Falcon game, I was in San Antonio, and I asked Jim Haslett about playing Adrian McPherson, the 3rd-string quarterback, and he said, well, he hasn't played a lot of football. You don't want to throw him out there and get his confidence wrecked, the confidence that maybe they've been building up in him during the season in which he's been the 3rd quarterback for each game. And he said, then again, we're not playing some of the worst defenses in the NFL, with the Falcons yet to be played, these Panthers in Tampa Bay, but also the Detroit Lions. And I have no way of knowing if this would occur, but it would seem to me that if Todd Bauman does not play particularly well here today, he is going to be assured of at least one more start. Jim Haslett said he's going to get a start in all 3. I wouldn't know why you might not make Adrian McPherson your number 2 quarterback and have him available maybe for mop-up duty against the Lions in San Antonio on Christmas Eve.
Well, I think the thing about Adrian McPherson is because of his ability to scramble that he would make plays with his feet, not just his arm or his knowledge of the playbook. He could just get out there and scramble around and, just play some, backyard football where everything doesn't have to be too structured for him.
And the pregame show will continue after these messages on the New Orleans Saints Radio Network.
Welch Generators and Equipment Rentals is so much more than just a generator supply house. All you industrial plant managers, shipbuilding supervisors, restoration contractors, and coating applicators, you need dehumidifiers and heaters. Welch can solve your challenge. 24/7 service. Welch Dehumidifiers and Heaters. Do the job. Service service is their specialty. Locally owned but serving national and international firms. Welsh Dehumidifiers and Heaters. Order yours today. 1-800-256-1924.
America is choosing Chrysler, and during the Chrysler year-end event, you've got even more to choose from. Get a generous year-end bonus cash when financed through Chrysler Financial, or choose our Miles of Freedom plan. 2 years or 24,000 miles of gas and scheduled maintenance, and a 5-year, 60,000-mile mechanical limited warranty. One great lineup, 2 great deals. Only at the Chrysler year-end event until January 3rd. Maximum gas amount $23.67. 6,000 miles scheduled maintenance intervals for 2 years or 24,000 miles. See dealer for details and a copy of the mechanical limited warranty. Excludes 300.
Yes, I'd like to register a vanity plate. I love Alltel.
Sorry, it's taken. We've had quite a few people in here lately. What's going on?
Well, at Alltel, if you drop a call, they'll credit you automatically. So I'm sure people are just trying to show their appreciation. What about, I love Alltel with all my heart?
I don't think that would fit.
What if I got 2?
Let it go. Get an automatic 1-minute credit for any call dropped on the Alltel network. Available on most plans. Other restrictions apply. See store or alltel.com for details.
Wherever there's work to be done, there's Abita Springs Water. That's why you can call the Abita Man if you're cleaning or rebuilding in the wake of Katrina. With several bottle sizes and dispensing units to choose from, the Abita Man can satisfy thirst with healthy, natural water delivered to your doorstep every 2 weeks. Call 828-2500 today for one of our local customer service reps. They're always friendly and ready to help. That's 828-2500 for convenient delivery. Because wherever there's work to be done, there's Abita Springs Water. Abita Man can. Abita Man can. As Greater New Orleans rebuilds, stay connected with the Big 870 WWL.
Well, the Saints have been introduced or about to be introduced. The colors are at midfield, and as we look across in this very sparsely populated Tiger Stadium, you can see a large contingent of fans sitting in some expensive seats midway up the stands at the 50-yard line. Those have to be family and friends of Jake Delhomme, many of whom wearing his number 17 jersey. We have the colors being presented at midfield, and our Star-Spangled Banner today, our national anthem, is to be performed by Noelle Young. The Saints are presenting reigning festival queens from throughout Louisiana. I have to imagine that she is one of them, and she's standing at the 50-yard line and is about to perform our national anthem. Let's go down and join her now.
Serving the cause of peace and freedom throughout the world, would everyone please rise and join Noelle Young in the singing of your national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fights. Oh, the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh,
national anthem. Let's pause 10 seconds for station identification on the New Orleans Saints radio network.
From the heart of the Crescent City, it's Entercom Communication Stations, the Big 870 WWL New Orleans, and Cool 105.3 WTKL New Orleans.
Many of us here in the press box at Tiger Stadium saddened by the news today that the former voice of the Tigers, John Ferguson, who patrolled these lairs for so long and did such a great job with the Tigers, died yesterday at the age of 86 at Lane Hospital in Zachary. You remember him well, I know, Hokie. Every LSU fan and fans really of the New Orleans Saints do as well. He performed this task for a couple of years, and wonderful gentleman.
Yes, he was. And I tell you, Bobby and I were talking about it in the pregame. That it was one of those voices that when you heard it, you knew exactly what you were listening to. That LSU football game. All you'd have to hear him say was a couple of words. That's the legacy that John Ferguson left here.
We'll miss him, and our condolences go out to his family. Our referee today is Tony Corrente, and he has the captains at midfield.
It is tails. New Orleans wins the toss. Which goal do you want to do now? New Orleans has won the toss and will receive.
And let's go right down to Kenny Wilkerson with an Abita Springs Water State sideline report. What you got for us, Kenny?
Well, first of all, that was, I don't know if you guys realize it, that was Brian Young's wife. And I guess she's one of the reigning queens or one of the festival queens, but that's also Brian Young's wife that did the national anthem. She's done it a number of times at voodoo games and things like that. So she's got a nice voice, and she's also a nice girl. The attendance here, I know it's a little chilly up in the box, but once you get out into the sun, it's really, really beautiful. The field is in great shape. The attendance is not even as good as it was. I shouldn't even say as good, but not even what it was the last game that we were here. Now, of course, there's probably a lot of people outside still maybe finishing up tailgating and making their way into this building right now, but it's not like the tunnels are being overwhelmed with people like that, like we'll see prior to kickoff in the Superdome, where there's just tons and tons of people still filing into the seats. So not a good crowd on hand, but I'm sure they'll be enthusiastic as they have been, and we'll see what Bauman can put together for them, guys.
Well, that'll be the question of the day, won't it? How well Todd Bauman can play. Jim Haslett has said he deserves a chance to show that he can be a starter in the NFL, or if he even really deserves to be a backup on this football team. They really don't know, because you can say a lot of things about Aaron Brooks, but questioning his toughness is not one of them. The guy started 82 games in a row here.
Well, you think about just even the beating that we've seen him take. I remember when up against, we went up there to New England, and one time Willie McGinnis just came off the corner, and nobody even blocked him, and they didn't put a back on him or a tight end or anything, and he came from Aaron's blind side. Aaron never saw him. I mean, that's the kind of hits right there that get a quarterback put on IR, and Aaron bounced right back up. There's another game where we went down awkward on his shoulder and stayed down on the ground for a few minutes and then came back after that. So his toughness is not in question.
John Casey puts his left instep into the football, kicking it off to the 5-yard line, where it is fielded there by Freddie McAfee. And fast Freddie McAfee brings it back up just short of the 35-yard line. Fred McAfee getting a chance to return the kickoff. In fact, his kickoff return average higher than Aaron Stecker, who usually has that opportunity. They will spot the football at the 34-yard line of New Orleans. And up comes Todd Bauman, up under center, wearing number 4. First and 10, Saints from the New Orleans 34. Backs in an eye. The tailback is Antoine Smith. Horn is wide left. Stallworth wide right. Horn comes in motion left to right. Now he sets at the left side of the formation. Handing off Smith. Antoine Smith beyond the 35 up to around the 37-yard line. Lamont Hall and Mike Rucker mixing things up, and Rucker chases him all the way back to the Saints huddle.
And Lamont Hall just turned his back to him, just walking away like he was paying no attention at all to what Mike Rucker had to say.
There'll be a pickup of 3, and it brings up 2nd and 7 for the Saints, with the football resting at their 37. A beautiful, bright, sun-splashed day here in Baton Rouge. Not a cloud in the sky, a chill in the air. It feels like football weather. One back, ace formation, wide receiver to either side. Smith again. Smith spins away from a tackler across the 40 and stopped at the 41-yard line. And Chris Gamble and Dante Stallworth pushing and shoving at the end of that play, so that's a gain of 4. You look at these Panthers, they have an awful lot to play for, not the least of which is revenge against the Saints.
Absolutely. We talked about that also in the pregame, but I mean, they've got a chance right now because of that thumping that Tampa Bay took yesterday. They've got a chance now to take over the division lead and possibly get first-round bye somewhere.
3rd and 3 from his own 41 for Bauman, who retreats to the shotgun for the first time, bunching 3 two receivers to the left, one to the right, calls for the football, throws, and it's going to be caught across the 40 up to the 41-yard line by Devery Henderson, but well short of the first down as he is put down by Marlon McCree, the strong safety, just a 1-yard completion. A safe pass, but not one that was probably going to get you the first down.
No, and I tell you what, I didn't really like the way that ball, it didn't float out there, but I think that Todd just, he stared down his receiver too much, and he just kind of dictated where the ball was going to go.
Steve Smith returning the punt of Berger from the 18 across the 25 and tripped up just short of the 30-yard line. Steven Smith, who's having such a great season, not only as a wide receiver, but also as a punt returner. The Panthers, in fact, have the #1 punt return average in the NFL.
Well, you remember that opening game of the season. That wasn't necessarily his coming out party, but as you mentioned, as you and I were driving up here today, what kind of passing game would they have if they had he and Mushin Muhammad out there? But Carolina is not designed for that. They're designed to be a running football team. But Steven Smith having a terrific year. And that first game against the Saints, he let everybody around there here know who he was.
After a 12-yard return of the 40-yard Berger punt, the handoff to Deshaun Foster, and he is ridden down by Charles Grant from behind after a pickup of around 4 yards. It was somewhat of a surprise to folks around the Panthers that Stephen Davis was placed on IR late this week. He was playing as recently as last week, carried 4 times for 23 yards against the Bucs, but apparently that knee injury that he suffered last year is still hobbling him, and they said that he was not suited to the role of coming on and off the bench. If he weren't going to be the starter, he was not going to be on this team. 2nd and 7 from his own 33 for Jake Delhomme. Puts Kroll in motion and hands it off again to Foster. Not much running room straight ahead as he's stacked up just short of the 35-yard line. It'll bring up 3rd down after a gain of 2.
Well, you talk about John Fox putting Stephen Davis on injured reserve. It also gives you a couple more weeks in the season if you decide to go ahead and pick up somebody out there that maybe you had training camp, put him in that running back spot so he can get familiar with the playbook again.
Jimmy Verdon comes into the Saints front 4. That's a role that Darren Howard might usually occupy at this time as the Panthers look at 3rd and 5 from their own 35 as the fans who are in attendance come to life. Drew Carter comes in motion across the formation. Delhomme's going to drop, throw, look downfield, caught by Carter on the run down at the 25-yard line. And that will be a good catch, with a Jason Kraft being victimized on a 40-yard strike. Carter coming into this game didn't have a catch in the regular season. He was a guy that had done a lot for them in preseason and then been forgotten. But they go to him here for a big strike to bring up 1st and 10 at the 26. Panthers going to hurry things up. Delhomme pumping again, a 3rd time, throws underneath the coverage to Kroll. He'll be wrestled down by Freddie Thomas right around the line of scrimmage, might have gotten a yard on the reception.
Come a couple of late flags. That might be the Saints might have had too many men on the field because at that long completion, Jake Delhomme immediately got his offense up to the line of scrimmage. They ran a play, a lot of confusion out there on the Saints. Some of them were just straggling back to the huddle up to the line of scrimmage.
So many men on the field, 5-yard penalty. Replay, 1st down.
No wonder Jake Delhomme couldn't find anybody. The Saints had 12 guys out there. It's more difficult to throw against 12.
Still didn't make it. It didn't make any difference. He still completed the pass.
That's right. But it took him longer to do it.
But even with 12 people, the Saints never did get a pass rush on him.
That's true. 1st and 5 now after the penalty at the Saint 20-yard line. 10:53 to play opening quarter. Scoreless game. Panthers threatening. Backs are offset. Seidman comes in motion. They're going to give it on an end around to Steve Smith. Will Smith tries to catch him from behind. Can't. Smith turns it upfield. 10, 5, leaping at the goal line. And he is going to be just short, apparently. They'll mark him out of bounds inside the 1-yard line.
Well, I hope the officials are gathering up now down there by that pylon. I wonder if we're going to get another one of them rules like we got Monday night with Michael Vick.
Yeah, that was amazing. The officials are still huddling. We saw him go out of bounds right close to the pylon. It's going to be 1st and goal from inside the 1. And now they're going to call it a touchdown. And I'll bet you're right, Hoke. I bet it's the same rule that they had last week.
The runner in the air had crossed the plane of the goal line, extended, touchdown.
Well, they are going to say that the football crossed the plane of the goal line before he was pushed out of bounds, unlike the call with Michael Vick on Monday night when the ball was clearly outside the pylon, but a part of his body went over it. This, they say, was an example of Steve Smith breaking the plane of the goal line, still in possession of the football before he was pushed out of bounds.
Well, I don't see how any of the officials could tell it because none of them were close enough there to see that the ball had actually broken the plane of the goal.
So the Panthers quickly moving downfield with their first possession, cashing in a touchdown on the end-around run by Steve Smith. Here's the extra point by John Casey. It is up and it is through. And with 10:33 to play in the opening quarter, the Panthers have taken a 7-0 lead. This is the New Orleans Saints Radio Network.
Hibernia is open for business, and we're ready to help your get back on their feet. Hibernia is offering special unsecured small business recovery hurricane lines of credit. We also have business bankers available in the affected areas and have opened business recovery centers to help with your small business needs. To find out about this special offer and how we are helping businesses, call 1-888-855-BANK or log on to hibernia.com. Hibernia Bank, where service matters. Member FDIC. Normal credit qualifications apply.
A uniform says a lot about who you are. Take a professional hockey player. In uniform, a committed athlete. Take it away, he's just a guy beating people with a stick. Uniforms can say a lot about your employees, too. We're Cintas, the uniform people, and it's our job to make your employees look and feel great. Call Cintas at 1-800-CINTAS-1. With Cintas uniforms, your employees will look like a team of professionals. Without them, well, go take a look for yourself.
What does America need right now? Some freedom. Introducing our Miles of Freedom plan. Now until the end of the year, you'll get 2 full years or 24,000 miles of gas and scheduled maintenance on select Dodge models, plus a 5-year or 60,000-mile limited warranty. Visit Dodge.com/freedom to grab life and some freedom. That's exactly what America needs and what I need. The maximum gas amount, 2367, 6,000 miles. Scheduled maintenance intervals for 2 years or 24,000 miles. See dealer for details and a copy of the mechanical limited warranty. Not available on Charger, Magnum, Viper, Sprinter, and SRT models. As Greater New Orleans rebuilds, stay connected to the latest with the Big 870 WWL.
Well, it didn't take the Panthers long. 4 plays, 70 yards, 2 minutes and 26 seconds. A 20-yard run on an end around by Steve Smith for his first touchdown of the season as a ball carrier, making it 7-0 Carolina. Smith had carried twice prior to this game for a loss of 2 yards. Speed kills, and Will Smith had it read well at his defensive end position. He stayed home, but he just didn't have the speed to catch up with Steve Smith, and once he turned the corner, he was gone.
Well, I don't know that there's many people on the Saints roster that can, especially not on the defensive line, that are going to be able. Will Smith just did what he could, but as you said, just a step too much that he couldn't get to him.
Fred McAfee again will return the kickoff, this time from the 10, up to the 20, 25, and crossing the 30-yard line is Fred McAfee. And a late flag is thrown as there's a push and shove at the 30-yard line. Mel Mitchell involved in it. Mike Carney is down there as well. Thomas Davis, the Carolina player that was involved in it. We'll see if that was what brought the flag or if there's another infraction here against the Saints on the return. Well, you mentioned it a while back. Fred McAfee was perhaps a better kick returner than Aaron Stecker. Looks like they switched roles.
Block in the back. Receiving team number 37.
It was a 21-yard return, but the penalty will go against Steve Gleason.
Well, Fred McAfee, he doesn't have that great speed that he had when he came into the league, but he's a smart returner. He knows how to use his blockers and set up his blockers, and he knows where that hole's supposed to open up.
Well, for the Saint offense, it was 3 and out with Todd Bauman throwing a very short completion on 3rd down, short of the 1st down. So he's back out there now, starting from his 20-yard line with the Saints down 7-0 with 10:28 to play in the opening quarter. Backs are offset. The running back remains Antoine Smith. Wideouts to either side of the field. Bauman short set, throws a wobbly end-over-end pass that's caught around the 26-yard line by Joe Horn. That's the old option pass. You could catch either end.
It didn't look pretty coming out of his hand.
I mean, our hands are cold up here, but I think Todd's are a little cold down there, but still it's a 6-yard reception.
Take them however you can get them, best you can. At least 2 for 2 in the game.
2 for 2 for what, 7 yards, and Zach Hilton splits out wide to the left, along with Joe Horn. Wide to the right, it's Dante Stallworth on 2nd and 5 from the 25. One setback, that is Antoine Smith, as Bauman changes the play. Hands off to Smith, running left. Rucker stands his ground, and along with Karstens, combine on the tackle around the 27-yard line. A gain of 1 for Antoine Smith, who came into this game with 127 carries for 546 yards, an average of 4.3, 3 touchdowns in his long gainer of the season, that 42-yard carry early in the game against the Bears here. So it's 3rd and a long 2 from the St. 28 for Bauman. Stallworth splits out wide to the right. Stecker joins Bauman in the backfield as Todd is in the shotgun. Oz Hakeem and Joe Horn to the near side, the short side of the field. And there's a movement up front as flags are thrown. False start against the Saints.
False start. Offense, number 61. 5-yard penalty. Remains third down.
That's Montre Holland, who had moved over from his right guard to his left guard position, replacing Kendall Jaycox today, with Jermaine Mayberry back in the starting lineup at right guard. So Bauman now will look at 3rd and 8 from his 22. Hakeem and Horn to the wide side of the field this time. Stallworth to the near side of the field. Bauman in the shotgun. See how many the Panthers bring here. They're going to come with 5. One off the corner. It's picked up. Bauman throws over the middle. Caught by Hakeem. As Hakeem diving forward to the 35-yard line. And that'll be a first down. That's a 13-yard reception. And that time, Bauman did show off that strong arm. And that was a tight spiral for the first down catch by Hakeem. Good job by Aaron Stecker in picking up the blitzing Ricky Manning Jr. coming off the left corner. 1st and 10 for the Saints from the New Orleans 35-yard line. 8 minutes to play. First quarter. Panthers leading 7-0 after a 70-yard drive in 4 plays on their opening possession. Backs offset, wideouts left and right. Short set Bauman. Going to throw it out in the right flat to Stecker. Running room up the sideline. Dragged down at the 43-yard line by Brandon Short after a gain of 9.
Well, this is exactly what Bobby Hebert was talking about in the pregame thing. And what Mike Shepard needed to do with Todd Bauman was keep things short, keep it simple, keep him on a 3-step drop, 5-step drop, something where he gets rid of the ball quickly, starts gaining some confidence early in the ball game.
He's 4 out of 4 for 29 yards. And it'll bring up 2nd and 1 from the New Orleans 44. Backs offset, wideouts left and right. Horn in motion, left to right, handed off Stecker, bangs into his fullback, and still takes it upfield and has the first down into Panther territory to the 45-yard line. Aaron Stecker showing those quick feet, finding the open area and picking up 11 yards.
And this could be Todd Bauman's best friend out there on the field today. Would be a good running game. And the Panthers are pretty stiff against the run, but the Saints can get something going and get it established. That'll help him out tremendously.
The Panthers are 3rd against the run, although they had some problems last week with the Bucs, with Cadillac running for 112 yards against them in that one-sided defeat by the Panthers. Here's Stecker running left. Nothing there this time, as coming off the corner quickly was Chris Gamble. That made him hesitate, and Jordan Karstens dropped him for a loss of 2 from his right defensive tackle position. Pretty tough defense that Mike Dragovac has going for the Panthers. Really tough up front, excellent corners. Jim Haslett was telling me before the game, if there's a weakness in this Panther team defensively, he thinks it's in the deep secondary where the safeties are Marlon McCree and Mike Minter. The Saints have not looked downfield much yet with their passing game. 2nd and 12 from the Panther 47. Bauman changes the play at the line of scrimmage. Splits his backs. Wideouts left and right. Pumps, looks, dumps it off to Antoine Smith. No blocker there as 4 of the Panthers have him, and there's a flag down, deeper downfield at the 37-yard line.
where Dante Stallworth contends that he may have been being held. Bauman was looking in that direction.
Defense, number 20. 5-yard penalty, automatic first down.
That was the corner, Chris Gamble, who was detected holding, so that's a first down, and the Saints' march continues.
Well, you were mentioning a minute ago that Jim Hazard thought that their safeties might be a weakness. I think he was referring to in pass coverage because Marlon McCree is their leading tackler, and that just goes to show you why they're so good against run. They don't mind putting 8 people up there in the box because their strong safety can get in there and fill that role of being a run stopper.
1st and 10 Saints at the 42-yard line of the Panthers. 5:44 to play first quarter. Carolina up 7-0. Minter comes up, shows blitz, is coming. Bauman throws over the middle, and it is incomplete as Zach Hilton is hit by the strong safety Marlon McCree, and this is the same thing that McCree did against the Saints and Ernie Conwell back in Carolina. Remember, he's the one that displaced Ernie Conwell's jaw with a hit like this. It cost him not only a penalty, which he's going to get here, but it also cost him a $7,500 fine. And this is how dumb this kid is. He does it again, and then he flexes his muscles right in front of the officials, and that drew 2 flags, and perhaps he'll be $7,500 in arrears once more after the NFL takes a look at that hit.
And an automatic first down.
They had started Thomas Davis, the first-round draft choice at that position against the Saints, and he was victimized so badly by Conwell in that opening game that they had to bench him and bring in McCree, and Davis has never won the job back. The officials now are going to confer after the mark-off. One thing about Zach Hilton, he's a big target, and he's taking some shots.
And I think that's another one of the things right there is Marlon McCree went through that forearm right to the head.
It's measured from the previous spot, 15 yards. First down.
So McCree guilty of the penalty, and the Saints get a first down at the 27-yard line of the Panthers. 1st and 10, 5:32 to play, opening quarter. Panthers scored quickly. Saints are marching, trying to retaliate with a score of their own. Fullback in motion, handoff. Antoine Smith puts his head down, bangs into the pile, and they push it further downfield. And Smith will have a gain of about 4 yards. So Antoine Smith, the pile-driving running back in the Saints tandem. Aaron Stecker comes in with the quick feet. The guy that can run to daylight, Antoine Smith, tries to create his own just by running straight ahead with power, as he did that time for the 4-yard gain to the 23-yard line of the Panthers. Horn is split out wide to the right, Stallworth wide left. Smith remains the running back. Mike Carney, the fullback, offset. On 2nd and 6 from the Panther 23, Bauman. Straight drop back, throws, he's got a receiver, and it's caught for the touchdown. A strike to Dante Stallworth, who gives the ball to a young fan in the corner of the end zone. Dante Stallworth with his 7th touchdown reception. That one good for 23 yards as he victimizes Chris Gamble.
Well, I'll tell you what, Todd Bauman off to a much better start than I said he would. I thought he'd come in and struggle. I'll tell you what, he looks like he's poised and under control right now. And believe me, there was nobody out there on the field more excited than he was after Dante Stallworth went into the end zone.
Aaron Brooks congratulating his longtime backup as Todd Bauman comes to the sideline, having thrown his first touchdown as a New Orleans Saint.
Todd's actually still out there holding for John Carney's extra point.
Carney puts it up, and he puts it through. And so the Saints come back and retaliate after the Panthers score early. 4:42 to play, opening quarter. It's the Saints 7 and the Panthers 7. This is the New Orleans Saints Radio Network.
You wouldn't want your favorite team to play only one side of the ball. So when it comes to insurance, why settle for someone that can only handle your auto policy? Bring your home and auto insurance to Allstate now, and you can save big on both. You deserve someone that can tackle more. That's Allstate, Stan. Are you in good hands?
Hey, football fans, to learn more, call your local Allstate agent. Subject to availability and qualifications. Allstate Insurance Company, Allstate Property and Casualty Insurance Company, and Allstate Indemnity Company, Northbrook, Illinois. Holiday greetings from Budweiser. holiday season. Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis, Missouri.
It's snowing Sony at A1 Appliance and Electronics. Every Sony TV is on sale. HD big screens, LCDs, even plasma, with no interest financing till 2008. Have a very merry Sony Christmas from A1 Appliance and Electronics.
Hi, this is Kenny Wilkerson for Briggs Equipment. Briggs Equipment is the largest distributor of all forklifts and the leader for parts and service on all models of forklifts. They will have the parts and expertise to fix any forklift, and Briggs Equipment's rapid quality service is not an accident, it's a promise. Briggs Equipment.
The heart of the Crescent City is you. Stay connected to home with the Big 870 WWL.
It's the New Orleans Saints tradition to turn down the sound on your TV and turn up the Saints radio network next Saturday at noon when the Saints take on the Detroit Lions. Turn up the Saints radio network.
Yes, sir. Christmas Eve game against the old Lions.
Looking forward to that one. Todd Bauman to Dante Stallworth, 23 yards, capping an 8-play, 80-yard drive, 5 minutes and 51 seconds it takes for the Saints to go those 80 yards. Bauman on the drive, 4 for 4 for 51 on the day, 5 for 5 for 52. So far, so good for Todd Bauman, who has looked poised and certainly went to the right spot with that one. Here's the kickoff by Berger. Jamal Robertson comes up and fields it at the 6, to the 10, to the 15, right side 20. At the 25, he breaks it off across the 30, pushed out of bounds by Fred Booker in front of the Saint bench. They will mark his progress to the 36-yard line of the Panthers, a 30-yard return. Timeout on the field, 4:34 to play opening quarter. Saints and Panthers tied at 7. This is the New Orleans Saints Radio Network.
Ken Butler, president of Aaron's Sales and Lease Ownership.
I see where those rent-owned stores are claiming they'll match our price on similar merchandise. You gotta be kidding me. They can't match the price or the merchandise at Aaron's. Aaron's has a huge selection of brand new, brand name furniture, electronics, appliances, and computers. And Aaron's doesn't just claim the lowest prices, we guarantee it. Or you can claim $100. So do the math. Nobody beats Aaron's. You can take that to the bank.
America is choosing Chrysler, and during the Chrysler year-end event, you've got even more to choose from. Get a generous year-end bonus cash when financed through Chrysler Financial, or choose our Miles of Freedom plan. 2 years or 24,000 miles of gas and scheduled maintenance, and a 5-year, 60,000-mile mechanical limited warranty. One great lineup, 2 great deals. Only at the Chrysler year-end event until January 3rd. Maximum gas amount $23.67. 6,000 miles scheduled maintenance intervals for 2 years or 24,000 miles. See dealer for details and a copy of the mechanical limited warranty. Excludes 300.
I'd like to give a speech to Ken here. Ken, you always know how to help.
Greg?
Just a minute, Carol. To Ken, the guy who lets me change my Altel plan whenever I darn well feel like it without changing my contract.
Honey, Ken has other customers.
Sorry, I just get so emotional every time I come in here.
Greg, put Ken down. When Altel lets you change your plan whenever you feel like it without changing your contract, what's not to love? Store Altel.com for details.
Stay connected to the information you need to rebuild your life. The Big 870 WWL.
Here in Plaza Stadium, which costs 10 seconds for station identification on the New Orleans Saints Radio Network.
From the heart of the Crescent City, it's Entercom Communication Stations. The Big 870 WWL New Orleans and Cool 105.3 WTKL New Orleans.
Panthers' second possession of the first quarter begins at the Carolina 36. Backs offset, 2 wideouts to the near side of the field, 1 to the far. Prohl comes in motion right to left, now back to the near side. Delhomme, play action. Going to throw underneath to Foster. Foster at the 40-yard line is swarmed over by 4 Saints and thrown to the turf, a gain of about 4 yards.
Well, you got to feel good for Todd Bauman for the start that he's had today. He's 5 for 52 yards. Well, you and I have had the occasion to talk to him several times after some of these LSU games, and what a great guy he is. You know, I mean, we just, both of us talked about that on the way home. We wish he could play more or play better, you know, when he gets out there. And, hey, at least today, in his first second drive, I should say, he's got a touchdown, his first one for the Saints.
2nd and 6 from the Carolina 40. Sideman in motion, backs in an eye. Tailback Foster left side. McKinnon's on his back. and brings him down after about a 2-yard gain to the 42-yard line. Well, it's obvious that the Panthers' running attack has moved to the days of Stephen Davis and into the hands of Deshaun Foster, the fourth-year man out of UCLA, the second-round draft choice back in 2002.
Well, they were such a great 1-2 punch when they had them both in there. Again, you got two different kind of backs, but Deshaun Foster can carry the load as a running back. They're not just going to dump their running game because they don't have Stephen Davis. Deshaun Foster is a fine back.
3rd and 4 for the Panthers from the Carolina 42. Mangum, the tight end, in motion. Delhome's going to throw it out in the flat, and it's dropped by Foster. Took his eye off the ball, and a late flag is thrown up at midfield. This is an incomplete pass, and the Panthers would have to punt it away, but there's a flag down in the secondary. The Saints are indicating it's against the Panthers, as Carolina brings its kicking team on the field, and that'll be punter Jason Baker.
Pass interference, offense, number 83. This penalty is declined. 4th down.
That's Kerry Colbert, the wide receiver on the other side from Steve Smith, and kind of a forgotten man in this attack with the year that Smith is having. And Kerry Colbert teamed with Muhsin Muhammad last year, with Smith being hurt much of the year. Comes into this game with 23 catches, just a pair of touchdowns. Steve Smith, by way of contrast, 87 catches and 10 touchdowns. So Jason Baker to punt it away. Saints with the return on. A high floating spiral. Taken back at the 7-yard line by Oz Hakeem. Spins away from one tackler, but then is trapped by another. And so the Saints will start from inside their 10 after a 51-yard punt and a return of just a yard by Hakeem. A timeout on the field with 2:56 to play. Opening quarter, Saints and Panthers tied at 7. This is the New Orleans Saints Radio Network.
Bud Light presents Real Men of Genius. Real Men of Genius. Today we salute you, Mr. Basketball Court Sweat Wiper-Upper. Mr. Basketball Court Sweat Wiper-Upper. You'll do anything for courtside seats, even if it means mopping another man's sweat off the floor. Smelly man's sweat. Superstars may fall, but superstars don't wipe up sweat after they fall. You do that. While they soak up the glory, you soak up pretty much everything else. Their shoes aren't squeaking till your towels are reeking. So crack open an ice cold Bud Light, oh Prince of Perspiration, because we know a champion when we smell one. Mr. Basketball Bud Light beer, Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis, Missouri. America is choosing Jeep brand, and during the Jeep year-end event, you've got even more to choose from. Choose generous year-end bonus cash when financed through Chrysler Financial, or get our Miles of Freedom plan. 2 full years or 24,000 miles of gas and scheduled maintenance, and a 5-year or 60,000-mile mechanical limited warranty. One great lineup, 2 great deals, only at the Jeep year-end event until January 3rd. Maximum gas amount $23.67, 6,000 miles scheduled maintenance intervals for 2 years or 24,000 miles. See dealer for details and a copy of the mechanical limited warranty. Offers exclude SRT 8 models. Jeep is a registered trademark of Daimler Chrysler.
The heart of the Crescent City is you. Stay connected and informed with the Big 870 WWL.
And this NFL scoreboard is brought to you by A1 Appliance and Electronics. Right now, Arizona leads Houston 3-0. Here's a little bit of a surprise. San Diego over Indianapolis 7-0. Everybody be keeping an eye on that game. San Francisco 3, Jacksonville 0, Miami 7, the Jets 0, Pittsburgh 3, Minnesota 0, and Philadelphia leads St. Louis 7-3.
1st and 10 Saints from the New Orleans 9-yard line. The tailback Smith, right guard, nothing there. Running behind Mayberry, no hole, as the talented front 4 of the Panthers limit Smith to just a 1-yard gain.
And one of the final scores, Seattle leads Tennessee 14-0. All of those are first quarter scores.
Well, the safety for the Panthers, Mike Minter, said after their loss last week to Tampa Bay 20-10, we have lost our wiggle room. Well, with Tampa's loss yesterday, being shut out by the Patriots, they have gotten a little bit more of that wiggle room restored. They can be the sole leaders of the NFC South with a victory here today against the Saints. Here's Bauman, going to pump downfield, and it's incomplete. On a stop-and-go pattern, he pumped to Stallworth.
Both the safety and the corner on that side, Chris Gamble, came up, and Stallworth went about 5 more yards down the field. Bauman overthrew him, but had they connected, there was nobody behind those two, and Stallworth might have gone some 90 yards for a touchdown.
Well, somebody was going to have to get on their horse if they were going to catch him, because they bid hard on it, and he was wide open, Todd Bauman. Just a little bit too much adrenaline behind that throw.
As he throws an incompletion for the first time today. 3rd and 9 from the 10-yard line. Hakeem along with Horn to the near side of the field. Stallworth to the far side of the field from the shotgun. Bauman has time, steps up, delivers, and it's incomplete through the hands of Hakeem. Perfectly thrown ball at the 25-yard line as he was covered there by Ricky Manning Jr., beaten on the play, and Bauman threw a perfect football that Hakeem let go right through his hand.
Well, there's not a whole lot you can do if you're Todd Bauman right there. He stood in the pocket. He looked downfield, made the perfect throw. I mean, he's right out in front of Miles Hakeem. I mean, he's going to pick up some additional yardage on that because he had beaten Manning so bad.
Here's Berger to punt it away. Smith says, get away from a poor punt. Takes a Saint roll, continues to roll inside the Panther 45-yard line, down around the Carolina 42 where it's blown dead. After a 48-yard Berger punt and nothing on the return, a timeout on the field with 1:54 to play. Opening quarter, Saints and Panthers tied at 7. This is the New Orleans Saints Radio Network.
Wherever there's work to be done, there's Abita Springs Water. That's why you can call the Abita Man if you're cleaning or rebuilding in the wake of Katrina. With several bottle sizes and dispensing units to choose from, the Abita Man can satisfy thirst with healthy, natural water delivered to your doorstep every 2 weeks. Call 828-2500 today for one of our local customer service reps. They're always friendly and ready to help. That's 828-2500 for convenient delivery. Because wherever there's work to be done, there's Abita Springs Water.
Abita Man can. Abita Man can.
If you are Medicare eligible or caring for someone who is, you should know about the Medicare Advantage health plans offered by Tenet Choices. Healthcare Select, Choices Plus, and Tenet Choices 65. These health plans offer you more benefits than standard Medicare, a lot more. Call us or visit us online to learn about Tenet Choices Medicare Advantage plans. Call 1-800-631-8443. That's 1-800-631-8443. Or visit tenetchoices.com.
What does America need right now? Some freedom. Introducing our Miles of Freedom plan. Now until the end of the year, you'll get 2 full years or 24,000 miles of gas and scheduled maintenance on select Dodge models, plus a 5-year or 60,000-mile limited warranty. Visit Dodge.com/freedom to grab life and some freedom.
That's exactly what America needs, and what I need.
Maximum gas amount 2367, 6,000 miles. Scheduled maintenance intervals for 2 years or 24,000 miles. See dealer for details and a copy of the mechanical limited warranty. Not available on Charger, Magnum, Viper, Sprinter, and SRT.
As Greater New Orleans rebuilds, stay connected with the Big 870 WWL.
Carolina begins the drive with good field position, their own 42. Sean Foster has carried 3 times for just 7 yards. Jake Delhomme is 2 of 3 through the air for 44. 40 of those coming on a strike to Drew Carter in the opening drive that covered 70 yards in 4 plays. And resulted in a 20-yard touchdown on an end around by Steve Smith. 1st and 10 Panthers from the Carolina 42. Handoff Foster, some running room left side. Young can't bring him down. He runs through another tackle to midfield. McKinnon missed him as well. They had him bottled up after about a yard or 2, but some sloppy tackling by the Saints allows Foster to pick up 8, just short of midfield. Well, you look at these Panthers, and they've done a really good job in a lot of areas, one of them being free agency. Here's some of the free agents they have. Ken Lucas, Mike Wall, Marlon McCree, Chris Draft, Jake Delhomme, Stephen Davis, Ricky Pearl, Tutan Reyes. They all came to this team via free agency. 2nd and a short 3 from the 49-yard line of the Panthers. Handing it off to Nick Goings. Goings can't find much running room at all. Might have picked up about half a yard to midfield. Nick Goings coming into this game with 18 carries for 59 yards. No gain on that play. You remember last year he was the primary ball carrier after they had lost both Davis and Foster to injury. He carried once for a pair of yards and a couple of receptions for 5 yards against the Saints back in the opening game of this season in Charlotte.
3rd and 2 from midfield for Jake Delhomme in this Panther offense. Backs offset. Goings remains the running back. Seidman in motion, handed off to Hoover, the fullback, and the big fullback picks up the first down, lunging forward over left guard and getting it by about half a yard. That'll be a gain of 3. Brad Hoover, 6 foot 245, and he too saw a lot of action last year as their primary running back. That was a team that overcame incredible injuries and a 1-7 start to get into the playoff hunt right to the end of the year. You remember the game that they played against the Saints, the last game of the last season?
That is the end.
The first 15 minutes of football, our history here in Baton Rouge with the Saints and Panthers, knotted up at 7 apiece. This is the New Orleans Saints Radio Network.
I love living in Louisiana. My wife and I grew up here, and now we're raising our 2 kids here. So it's important to me that I work for a company that knows the value of family. Here at Dow in Louisiana, I work with a group of talented people to help protect our environment and ensure that this remains a safe place to live. Because protecting the environment means making this place better for everyone's family. Dow, living improved daily.
Guest rooms have been completely refurbished and all 3 restaurants are being renovated, as well as the famous Carousel Bar and Lounge at the Hotel Mauvaillon in the French Quarter. It's all part of a multi-million-dollar renovation of this historic treasure. The Carousel Bar is a great place to drink before or after the game. Enjoy a fabulous dinner prepared by Chef Randy Buck in the Hunt Room. Hotel Mauvaillon is also a wonderful place to have your wedding reception. Coming to New Orleans for the big game? Take advantage of special rates for football fans. Hotel Mauvaillon. Call 1-800-535-9595.
We're all expecting big things this season, and Kirschman's has everything you need for the big games ahead, including sofas, sectionals, recliners featuring Lazy Boy, big screen TVs, and more. Kirschman's unbeatable buying power brings you the guaranteed lowest prices on everything for your home. Leather and microfiber living rooms, master to youth bedrooms, casual to formal dining rooms, bedding, floor covering, TVs, and appliances. So sit back and enjoy a season that hopefully will live up to your expectations. And if you'd like something more comfortable to sit back in, come to Kirschman's, where they exceed customer expectations. As Greater New Orleans rebuilds, stay connected to the latest with the Big 870 WWL.
Welcome back to Tiger Stadium in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Jim Henderson alongside Hokie Gajan with Kenny Wilkerson down on the field below. Todd Bauman's debut so far for the Saints, a fairly impressive one. Taking them 80 yards in 8 plays, connecting with Dante Stallworth on a 23-yard touchdown to tie the game at 7 after the Panthers had taken the opening kickoff and to them, or actually their first possession, and gone 70 yards in 4 plays. Panthers moving it right to left now on the first play of the second quarter. 1st and 10 from the Saint 47. Play action, Delhomme with all sorts of time. Can't find anybody, rolls to the left, being chased by the Saints, and he's hit along the sideline by Jonathan Sullivan, and a late flag will be thrown.
Jake down there shaking hands with a couple of Saints players.
Dante Stallworth.
Yeah, just a boneheaded play right there on the part of Jonathan Sullivan.
Yeah, Sullivan hit him clearly late and from behind. Jake none the worse for wear, and he didn't complain about it. Just went over and accepted the handshakes and congratulations of some of his former teammates, but the flag will go against New Orleans on the late hit by Sullivan. The officials continue to confer about it right in front of the Saint bench with Jim Haslett eavesdropping.
I don't really see what the huddle by the officials is about. I mean, the flag came out almost immediately after Sullivan hit Jake, knocked him out of bounds, so...
Well, we're about to find out from Tony Corrente.
Personal foul. Roughing the passer unnecessarily threw a forward into his back after he threw the ball. 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
So you heard it, the 15-yard penalty against Sullivan, throwing a forearm shiver into the back of Jake Delhomme. Actually, it was more of a push, but it clearly was off the field of play, and the call is a proper one. Delhomme was just throwing the ball away to avoid the loss on the play. And so with the penalty, the Panthers will have it 1st and 10 at the Saint 32. 14:52 to play second quarter. We're tied at 7. Seidman goes in motion, backs off set. Delhomme up under center, play action. Going to throw over the middle, caught by Steve Smith. Wrestled down from behind by McKinnon, short of the 25-yard line. Just short. And that'll be a gain of 7.
Well, I guess Jonathan Sullivan, since he wasn't here when Jake was here, he's heard enough about it and sees all the signs and the jerseys and everything else in the stadium, said, well, let me extract my pound of flesh out of this whole thing.
Boy, Steve Smith has had a great year, Pro Bowl type year, all-pro type year, and we saw that in evidence in the very opening game of this season, that he was going to be special. At full health, 2nd and 3 from the 25 of the Saints. Handoff Foster looking for running room right side. Terrence Melton is there to meet him along with some company, and that'll be a gain of just a couple to around the 24-yard line, and it'll bring up 3rd down. Well, Terrence Melton getting the chance to start for Cedric Hodge today. Remember, way back when, that was a position James Allen was supposed to make his mark from this year. But, of course, he's been sidelined by injury much of the season. And Hodge has been battling an ankle problem, inactivated today, so Terrence Melton will have a chance to show what he can do on 3rd and 1 here from the Saint 23. Goings on a wing left. Otherwise a tight formation. Delhomme looks, throws near sideline, caught by Smith. 1st down. Freddie Thomas pushes him out of bounds at the 15-yard line, but that'll be a Carolina 1st with Steve Smith receiving for 8 yards.
Steve Smith about single-handedly beat the Saints in the opening game of the season. Boy, he made some terrific catches in that game.
Had 8 catches for 138 yards against the Saints in the season opener, including a touchdown. Last week against the Bucs, held fairly well in check. 5 catches for 103. And Ricky Prohl's touchdown reception in that game was the Panthers' only score through the air. 1st and 10 Carolina from the New Orleans 15. Tied at 7. Delhomme under pressure, throws downfield, incomplete, intended for Smith, who was tangled up with Freddie Thomas, and Delhomme had to hurry that pass as one of the Saints' on-rushing linemen came home scot-free on a very short set by Delhomme. Freddie Thomas, who has battled his way back into the starting lineup for the Saints this season at right corner, supplanting Fakir Brown, and playing through injuries. Has a bulging disc in his neck that causes him discomfort in every game, but Freddie Thomas still in there. 2nd and 10 from the 15-yard line of the Saints. Colbert wide left, Smith wide right. Handoff, Goings, left side. Not much running room there as the Saints stack him up after a couple. You'll notice forward progress extended to about the 13-yard line.
You know, the Saints' run defense is still a little bit porous, but I will have to say one thing about them this year. They have tackled better this year than they have in the past. I mean, you remember just in the past so many games that you just say, God, look just how shabby the tackling is. I mean, there's like every other week, you know, I would run for 100-something yards and Hazard would come out and say, well, you know, we missed.
Ball. This is Charles Grant lateraling on the near sideline. It's going to be a lateral to Bullocks. And no, Smith down to the 1-yard line. Dwight Smith taking the lateral, chased down by Steve Smith. No flags on the play. It appears that the Saints have picked up that loose ball and nearly scored with it.
Well, you know, they had Steve Smith in pursuit of Dwight Smith, and so he wasn't going to outrun him. But I'm kind of guessing that John Fox may have this thing challenged because, I mean, you just never know what the official's going to say and say his arm was going forward.
During the return of the fumble, illegal forward pass, defensive team. The ball was passed from one spot, was received forward of that spot. 5-yard penalty, 1st down.
Well, the Saints will have the football, but not nearly as close to the Panther goal line as after this penalty. Charles Grant stumbling forward, pitched the ball forward in the view of the officials to Dwight Smith. Smith chased down by Steve Smith instead of having it 1st and goal from inside the 1-yard line. The Saints will have it back on their side of the 50 when we return. 11:52 to play, second quarter. Saints 7 and Panthers 7. This is the New Orleans Saints Radio Network.
A veteran brings leadership, integrity, and honesty to a team. And your seasoned vet in the automotive business for over 75 years, the Hood Automotive family. Hi, this is Corey Johnson. No matter what you're looking for, the Hood Automotive Group's got you covered. Like new Fords, Lincolns, Mercurys, Chevrolets, Pontiacs, Buicks, GMCs, Nissans, Mazdas, Hyundais, Chrysler, Dodges, Jeeps, and quality pre-owned vehicles too. The Hood Automotive Group truly is everything automotive under one hood.
Did you know that most of the world's greatest chefs prefer cooking on gas stoves over electricity? And safe, affordable propane gas is the fuel of choice in my kitchen. I'm Julie Bernard, and no, I'm not one of the world's greatest chefs, but my family and friends in Louisiana think I'm a pretty good cook. Propane stoves heat and cool quickly with the precise temperature control needed for the best Louisiana dishes. To find out more about this exceptional energy, go to www.louisianapropane.com.
Glad you could come to my office today, Mr. Kenny, because I found the perfect job for you.
I guess you just have to know where to look.
That's true. And in this case, it's in Arizona.
Oh, but I don't want to move to
What do you mean? You'll love Arizona. If you think about it, Mr. Kenny, Arizona's a lot like here, only with more cactuses.
It's cacti.
Uh-huh.
There's an easier way to find a local job. Visit NOLA.com. NOLA.com has more Greater New Orleans jobs and employers, so it's easier to find a job you love in the place you love. The best local jobs are on NOLA.com.
The heart of the Crescent City is you. Stay connected to home with the Big 870 WWL.
Well, the Saints are challenging the ruling on the field that it was a forward lateral from Charles Grant to Dwight Smith.
And this Hibernian National Bank Challenge is brought to you by Hibernian National Bank, the official bank of the New Orleans Saints. Right now, open a Hibernia personal or business checking account and get an American Traveler Metro Collection luggage piece free. At Hibernia, your official bank, entrust all your financial needs with the one you know, Hibernia, where service matters. Let's go right down to Kenny Wilkerson.
Yeah, they're going to put the ball at the 41. They're going to rule that it's not that it was an illegal lateral.
The New Orleans player had thrown the ball from the 46. It was received on the 47. By rule, this is an illegal forward pass. A 5-yard penalty will be assessed from the 46-yard line. New Orleans will be charged with a timeout.
So a Saints challenge goes by the boards, costing them a timeout. It was Jason Kraft who sacked Jake Delhomme. Delhomme's arm was coming forward, but after the football had been dislodged, Charles Grant picked it up. Lateral to Dwight Smith around the 47-yard line of the Saints. Dwight Smith took it all the way inside the 1, but it was a ruled a forward lateral from Grant to Smith.
And let's go right back down to Kenny Wilkerson.
And you're not having much of an argument out of Jim Haslett. The way the referee is explaining it to him is the same way that he's explaining it after he talked with the upstairs officials as they talked about each step through the way. And he was talking about actually feet coming down where the feet were. They were I tell you what, it was as detailed as I've seen any referee go over any type of a replay in years. Very, very detailed as to where the steps were, where the ball was, so forth and so on. Now, you guys, I can't see it. Y'all, you'd have to tell me if it's right or wrong and what they're seeing.
The 41-yard line. First down.
I do know that he was very, very, he took a lot of time with it and was very definitive of his markings of the feet and the ball and where to put the ball with the spot with the penalty. So not much argument from Jim Haslett after he explained all that to him.
Has malfunctioned. It will be kept on the field.
And the clock is malfunctioning. The game clock, I imagine, is what he said. It's stuck at 11:52, so time will be kept on the field. The Saints now minus 16 in turnover differential, and the Panthers are plus 7. So it's the Saints football at the New Orleans 41, first and 10, 7-7 our score, second quarter. Bauman to throw, and going to throw deep down the sideline. He's got Stallworth at the 20. He's going to be wrestled down at the 16-yard line. Dante Stallworth with a reception of 43 yards. His longest of the season.
Well, come back and pick up a huge chunk of that yardage on the first play of scrimmage, and it's not down to the 1 where Dwight Smith was tackled at, but nice job of Todd Bauman standing there. Lofts the ball up, big rainbow on it. Dante Stallworth goes up and gets it.
43 yards as he beat Chris Gamble, and the Saints are threatening. Down at the 16-yard line, it is 1st and 10. Clock is running again, showing just over 11 minutes to play in the second quarter. We're tied at 7. Hakeem split out wide to the left. Horn wide right as Stallworth gets a chance to catch his breath on the sideline. Antoine Smith, with Julius Peppers around his ankles, picks up just 1 yard. Well, Bauman has a good, strong arm, and he looks downfield at least more so than Aaron Brooks had been doing recently.
Well, earlier in the week, Jim Haslett was talking about Todd Bauman and said he's got a big-time arm. He said with a flick of the wrist, he can throw the comebacks in the deep route, and that's what he did. I mean, he put very little effort into that throw.
It'll bring up 2nd and 9 after the gain of 1 by Smith at the 15-yard line of the Panthers. Stecker in the backfield. Backs are split. Bauman wants to throw again and does. It's tipped and it's going to be incomplete. Intended for his tight end. That was Zach Hilton, but it looked like the ball was tipped by a linebacker around the 5-yard line and went sailing over his head. This is an area of the field that you would anticipate that Hilton could be effective with his 6'8" size. But it'll bring up 3rd and 9 from the 15-yard line of the Panthers. Todd Bauman, who has looked very composed and has had a lot of time in the Saints' pocket, will be in the shotgun with 2 wideouts to the left. One of them, Horn, coming in motion, joining Stallworth on the near side of the field. Bauman calls for the football. Has time, guns it, and it's intercepted at the goal line by Minter. Back to the 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. Up to the 35, he's to the 40, and he's going to be brought down at the 48-yard line of the Panthers.
Well, Dante Stallworth wasn't even looking for that pass. He had his eyes glued on Minter because Minter was squatted down right there in the middle of the field where the quick slant was going to.
So the threat by the Saints goes by the boards as Minter brings back the interception, 47 yards. 10:06 to play before halftime. Saints and Panthers tied at 7. This is the New Orleans Saints Radio Network.
Get the good stuff.
Hey folks, Hokie Gajan here for Napa Auto Parts, with gifts for everybody on your list. Register to win an authentic twin OCC bicycle, one given away per participating Napa store. Napa toy delivery trucks are just $19.99. A 38-piece homeowner's tool set with carrying bag is just $49.99, and a 54-piece outdoor tool set with bag just $59.99. And a 2006 Nextel Cup scheduled t-shirt is just $9.99.
Napa. Get the good stuff.
Only at participating Napa stores.
It was the rhythm of every day. The coming and going of neighbors, friends, and family. The simple goodness of life here that kept us together then and brings us together now. To the people of this region who have suffered so much, we extend a healing hand and the promise of hope for a new beginning. Slidell Memorial Hospital. Yesterday, today, and tomorrow.
What's the best way to buy auto insurance? At U.S. Agencies, the answer's easy. The best way is your way. U.S. Agencies makes buying car insurance easy and affordable. And you get to choose how. Stop by any convenient location, call them on the phone, or log on to usagencies.com. Get a quote, compare rates, even buy your policy. It's everything you need. 3 great ways. 1 great company. U.S. Agencies. Low-cost auto insurance that lets you enjoy the ride. Call them today. 928-9000.
Stay connected to the information you need to rebuild your life. The Big 870 WWL.
Well, it was just a bad decision right there on the part of Todd Bauman that he threw the ball into double coverage, and Mike Minter was just squatted down right in the middle of the field. Chris Gamble had Dante bracketed from the backside, and the offensive line is doing a heck of a job protecting Todd right now. That was just a poor decision that he made.
Saints had reached the Carolina 15, but come away with nothing to show for it. 1st and 10 for the Panthers from their 48. Handoff Foster, ridden down from behind by Melton in Saints territory around the 48-yard line, perhaps the 47. Give him 5 on the carry. Let's pause 10 seconds for station identification on the New Orleans Saints Radio Network.
From the heart of the Crescent City, it's Entercom Communication Stations, the Big 870 WWL New Orleans, and Cool 105.3 WTKL New Orleans.
2nd and 5 for the Panthers from the New Orleans 47. Colbert in motion left to right. Smith split out wide to the left. Delhomme looks at him, throws it on the near sideline to Smith, pushed out of bounds by Thomas after the reception in front of the Saints bench at the 43-yard line for a gain of 4.
Another one of them leaping catches like we saw in the first game. I mean, that guy's got to have a 40-inch vertical jump.
He had 14 catches in one game earlier this season against Chicago, and he's particularly dangerous when he has got that ball in his hands on the field of play, not running to the sideline as he was there. He ranks first in the NFL in yards after the catch with 560 yards coming into this game. 3rd and 1 Panthers at the Saint 43. Sideman in motion, handoff to the fullback Hoover, first down to the New Orleans 40-yard line. The way that's worked well for the Panthers in short yardage is to stretch things out and give it on the straight-ahead handoff to the fullback Hoover, 6 feet 245 out of Western Carolina. A 3-yard gain, a first down, and the Panther drive continues. It'll be 1st and 10 for Carolina at the Saint 40-yard line. Colbert and Smith make that Colbert and Prohl wide right, Smith wide left. The back is Foster. Prohl in motion to the left and back to the right. Saints coming on the blitz. It's picked up. Delhomme throws on the stop. It's to Smith at the 23-yard line. That's a difficult pass to defend right there. Just a stop route right at the 23. Bakir Brown had Smith well covered, but the ball was there as soon as he turned around for it. And that's a 17-yard gain.
And you're absolutely right. It is a very difficult pattern to cover because when a quarterback throws it right and puts it on the receiver's back shoulder, there's really no way the cornerback can get there unless he's been beat.
1st and 10 at the 23-yard line of the Saints. 7:46 to play before halftime. We're tied at 7. Handoff to the tailback. Foster turns the left corner before he's ridden down from behind by the linebacker, Ron McKinnon, for a gain of 2.
It was a good play by Ron McKinnon because it looked like Foster had the corner turned and McKinnon just came out of nowhere, tackled him from behind.
Ron McKinnon has made his presence known since taking over for Courtney Watson, sidelined for the year after knee surgery, but really, in all truthfulness, not playing very well at the middle linebacking position before that move had to be made. 2nd and 8 from the New Orleans 21. Colbert along with Carter to the near side of the field as Colbert goes in motion left to right. Handoff Foster. Foster, right side, dragged down by Grant around the 16-yard line. Give him 5 on the carry. Foster's been held well in check by the Saints, who've limited his runs to controllable yardage. It'll bring up 3rd and 3 at the 16-yard line. Carter checks out, and Chris Mangum, a tight end, enters the Panther huddle. Jake Delhomme, the 7th-year man out of Louisiana Lafayette, up under center. Foster, the running back. Hoover offset to his right as the fullback. 2 tight ends to the right side of the formation. They pitch it to Foster. He runs in that direction, and he is going to be close to the first down. He was able to maintain his footing on this soft field. He lost traction momentarily as he made his cut out to the right, but then regained his balance and fought his way close to the first down. Looks like he's going to be a bit short.
Well, John Fox thinks that he is because he's sending out his field goal unit.
Looks to be about half a yard short. And on will come John Casey, who's had a rough time of it this year. Last week he missed a 42-yarder at the end of the first Panther drive of the day. This will be a 32-yard attempt. Right hash mark. Snap placement, kick by Casey is up, and it is good. John Casey from 32 yards out gives the Panthers a 10-7 lead with 5:22 to play before halftime. This is the New Orleans Saints Radio Network.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Wow, they scanned my whole body from head to toe already.
With Thibodeau Regional's Lightspeed 64-slice CT scanner, even our smallest patients like how quickly and accurately we can scan their body. Faster exams mean less anxiety. The clearer, sharper images allow for quicker diagnosis and treatment. Thibodeau Regional Medical Center, continuing to bring you more, better, and faster technology.
The heart of the Crescent City is you. Stay connected and informed with the Big 870 WWL.
After the Minter interception down around the goal line that he returned to the Carolina 48, the Panthers managed 38 yards in 8 plays in 4 minutes and 44 seconds. John Casey, the last original Panther, coming on to kick a 32-yard field goal, 10-7 Carolina with 5:22 to play before the half. Steve Smith, 1 carry for 20 yards, that being a touchdown, 4 catches for 37 as his fine season continues. Here's Casey's kickoff. It'll be fielded on the far side by McAfee, who drops the ball. Picks it back up at the 14. Freddie McAfee across the 20 to around the 22-yard line. Took his eye off the ball momentarily, but with a lot of poise. Just very confidently reached down, picked it up, and made some positive yardage, 8 yards on the return by McAfee. Up to the 22 of the Panthers, where the Saints will have it when we return. 5:14 play, opening half. Panthers 10 and the Saints 7. This is the New Orleans Saints Radio Network.
Bud Light presents Real Men of Genius. Real Men of Genius. Today we salute you, Mr. Electric Carving Knife Inventor. Mr. Electric Carving Knife Inventor. You have given us a tool with the amazing ability to cut through meat, potatoes, and on occasion, an index finger. I need a medic. Nothing captures the excitement of Thanksgiving like 220 volts of electricity shooting through a really sharp knife. I still need a medic. Finished carving that bird? There's an unruly shrub out back that could use a little trim. Seriously, call a medic. So crack open an ice-cold Bud Light, oh Baron of the Blade. We'll still mangle the turkey, but thanks to you, we'll mangle it in half the time. Mr. Electric Carving Knife Inventor. Bud Light Beer, Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis, Missouri.
Hey y'all, Hokie Gajan here from my friends at Whitetail Oilfield Services. If you need any oilfield construction services at all, you gotta call Whitetail Oilfield Services in Houma. Whitetail, just like the deer, 985-853-1005. 985-853-1005.
It's snowing Sony at A1 Appliance and Electronics. Every Sony TV is on sale. HD big screens, LCDs, even plasma. With no interest financing till 2008. Have a very merry Sony Christmas from A1 Appliance and Electronics.
As Greater New Orleans rebuilds, stay connected with the Big 870 WWL.
Todd Bauman has gone to the right place with the football, with one exception, his last throw previous to this series that resulted in the Minter interception. 1st and 10 Saints from the New Orleans 22. Bauman changing the play at the line of scrimmage. Wideouts left and right, backs offset. Antoine Smith running it straight ahead. Tripped up by the safety as he's up to around the 27-yard line.
I tell you, Joe, it's something that Bobby's been harping on all year long, that when you get an opportunity, when you force a turnover, you got to be able to get points out of it. Saints get a break, the long fumbles. They didn't get the ball down to the 1-yard line, but they did come back, get it to the 15, and came away with nothing. On the flip side of that, Carolina gets the interception. At least they come out of it with a field goal.
2nd and 5 from the 27 of the Saints. Handoff Stecker. Stecker breaks one tackle and is able to churn beyond the 30-yard line. It'll bring up 3rd and a long 2 for the Saints after just a 2-yard gain by Stecker.
O'Reilly Auto Parts will be donating $3 per rushing yard that the Saints gained today to Deuce McAllister's Catch-22 Foundation.
Deuce on the road to recovery. 3rd and 2 from the 30-yard line of the Saints. Stallworth wide left alongside Hakeem. Horn wide right. Backs off set. Stecker, the running back, gets the call, has the first down and more. Beyond the 40, beyond the 45, to the 46-yard line of the Saints. A 16-yard pickup by Aaron Stecker.
And this NFL scoreboard is brought to you by Lennox Air Conditioning and Heating. Houston leads Arizona 14-10. San Diego still beating Indianapolis 10-0. San Francisco 3, Jacksonville 0. Miami over the Jets 7-0. Pittsburgh and Minnesota tied up at 3 apiece. Philadelphia leads St. Louis 7-3. Seattle 14, Tennessee 7. And those are your updated scores from the other noon games today.
Colts trying to go 14-0. First and 10 Saints from the New Orleans 46. Ace formation. Stecker gets the call. He'll be ridden down by the middle linebacker Morgan after a short gain, perhaps 2, to around the 47-yard line. Now, a recent poll by ESPN asked people supposedly in the know to rank the best to worst franchises in professional sports, discounting the NHL franchises because of the work stoppage last year. The Panthers finished number 8 overall. Would you like to guess where the Saints finished?
I'm guessing down at the bottom.
Dead last, 91st. Second and 9 from the 47-yard line of the Saints. Handoff Stecker behind the block of Carney. He wriggles across the 50 into Panther territory to the 49-yard line. It'll bring up third down. That's a 4-yard gain.
Tell you what, so far, Jamal Brown holding his own out there. Hadn't mentioned the name of Julius Peppers very much.
And, of course, that was going to be the big matchup in the opening game, the first-round draft choice against Julius Peppers, and Brown shut him down. Peppers didn't get a sack in that game. Jim Haslett made mention of it in postgame, and Peppers said, well, I was double-teamed a lot. We'll see what happens next time. So far, he's been quiet. 3rd and 5 from the 49 of the Panthers. From the shotgun, Hakeem over the middle, dives inside the 40 to the 38-yard line, and that'll be a first down, a gain of 11. I'll say one thing about Todd Bauman in contrast to Aaron Brooks. Instead of getting back there, looking all around and peeling out of the pocket, he seems very decisive as to where he wants to go with the ball.
Yeah, and it's not because that Todd Bauman can't scramble. I mean, he's got better than average scrambling skills.
2-minute warning has been reached. Panthers 10, Saints 7. This is the New Orleans Saints Radio Network.
Yes, I'd like to register a vanity plate. I love Alltel.
Sorry, it's taken. We've had quite a few people in here lately. What's going on?
Well, at Alltel, if you drop a call, they'll credit you automatically. So I'm sure people are just trying to show their appreciation. What about, I love Alltel with all my heart?
I don't think that would fit.
What if I got 2?
Let it go. Get an automatic 1-minute credit for any call dropped on the Alltel network. Available on most plans. Other restrictions apply. See store or alltel.com for details.
Wherever there's work to be done, there's Abita Springs Water. That's why you can call the Abita Man if you're cleaning or rebuilding in the wake of Katrina. With several bottle sizes and dispensing units to choose from, the Abita Man can satisfy thirst with healthy, natural water delivered to your doorstep every 2 weeks. Call 828-2500 today for one of our local customer service reps. They're always friendly and ready to help. That's 828-2500 for convenient delivery. Because wherever there's work to be done, there's Abita Springs Water. Abita Man can. Abita Man can. What does America need right now? Some freedom. Introducing our Miles of Freedom plan. Now until the end of the year, you'll get 2 full years or 24,000 miles of gas and scheduled maintenance on select Dodge models, plus a 5-year or 60,000-mile limited warranty. Visit Dodge.com/freedom to grab life and some freedom.
That's exactly what America needs, and what I need.
Maximum gas amount 2367, 6,000 miles. Scheduled maintenance intervals for 2 years or 24,000 miles. See dealer for details and a copy of the mechanical limited warranty. Not available on Charger, Magnum, Viper, Sprinter, and SRT vehicles.
As Greater New Orleans rebuilds, stay connected to the latest with the Big 870 WWL.
Saints have been pretty efficient running the football, 13 times for 52 yards, an average of 4 per carry. Bauman 7 of 11 through the air for 106 yards, the touchdown of 23 yards Stallworth, and the 1 interception by Minter down around the goal line. First and 10 from the Panther 38. Carney in motion. Bauman looks, throws, knocked up in the air, and it's incomplete. Almost. Was that intercepted? Apparently it was. Apparently it was intercepted by Wallace flat on his back around the 38-yard line. The ball was tipped up into the air. Saint, I think it was Antoine Smith, had an opportunity to catch it. Went out of his hands and fell into those of Al Wallace, who was lying on his back. The officials indicating the catch was made by Wallace, and that'll be an interception by the Panther defensive end.
Well, I'm thinking they're obligated to challenge this because it's inside the 2-minute warning.
Might have been Rucker who got his hand on the ball. We'll look at it again. Rucker or Peppers. And it was Antoine Smith.
The ball hit the ground.
Who had an opportunity to catch the ball. And with 1:52 remaining before halftime, the Saints will call a timeout. And the booth is going to be looking at this.
Well, I think they need to. I mean, they're obligated to do that inside the 2-minute warning, aren't they?
They are, if they choose to.
Yeah.
Wallace still has the football in his hands on the bench. He thinks he's got a souvenir. But you saw the replay, and you think it's an incomplete pass.
They only showed it one time, and it looked like the ball clearly hit the ground, but they haven't shown it again since.
Now, Wallace, 6'5" and 275, sixth-year man out of Maryland. Actually had an interception earlier this season, thinks he's got another. Now, the ball was tipped up in the air by an on-rushing Panther defensive lineman. Antoine Smith almost made the catch as he was leaping in the air at the 35-yard line. He was hit by Dan Morgan, the linebacker, and the ball spilled from his hands. And apparently it's being reviewed. They said it was going to be reviewed upstairs, but apparently all they did was have the Saints call a timeout, and it was not reviewed. There's a running attempt up to the 45-yard line.
And that's why the Saints called timeout.
Carolina is their first charge team timeout.
But we never did get a definite call from the field that it was being reviewed upstairs, and we never heard an announcement afterward if it was, so I don't think that did get reviewed.
Apparently it didn't, because Jim Henderson called a timeout to give the officials more time to think about it and see if some word came down from the booth, because Carolina got up there and got ready to run a play, but now it's a moot point because they have run a play.
We're watching the telecast of this game, and they had flashed a graphic saying instant replay review upstairs, and that was not the case apparently. The Saints called timeout, and we don't believe that call ever was reviewed because there was no declaration on the field by Tony Corrente that it was or what the result of such a review was. And it never saw them do that. So the play stands. The interception by Wallace counts, and the running attempt gives the Panthers a 2nd and 1 at their 45-yard line. And the second interception of the day of Todd Bauman. Here's Goings running hard and straight ahead. Wrapped down around his ankles, trips him up around the Saint 43-yard line. Panthers will hurry things up. That's a 12-yard gain. 1:30 to play before halftime. 1st and 10 for Carolina. Delhomme out of the shotgun, has time, throws to the far sideline, catch is made by Goings, running away from Kraft. He'll be pushed out of bounds. I think that Bullocks that missed him. No, it was Smith who missed him, actually. He'll be pushed out of bounds down around the 13-yard line. Dwight Smith just ran right past him when he came up to make the tackle. That'll be a gain of 30 yards. It was Bullocks who forced Goings to the sideline and out of bounds at the 13-yard line of the Saints. 1st and 10, 1:18 to play before halftime. Out of the shotgun, they'll hand it off to Foster, and Foster finds running room inside the 10, down to around the 8-yard line.
Well, it's the thing you don't want to see
Carolina
happen.
second charge team timeout.
I tell you what, Jim, they did show another angle of the interception by Wallace, and as Antoine Smith dropped the ball hit Wallace's foot and bounced up in the air, and he caught it, and that was where we thought that the ball hit the ground and popped up, but in fact hit his foot.
So the officials upstairs saw no need to review it. They saw it clearly as an interception. And so it stands with Al Wallace, the defensive end, registering his 2nd interception of the season. And the Panthers trying to take advantage of the 2nd interception of Bauman in the 2nd quarter to turn it into additional points. One earlier by Minter. The eventually resulted in a 32-yard Casey field goal. 2nd and 5 from the same 8-yard line.
Julius Peppers is in the slot.
He is lined up to the left alongside Ricky Kroll. 4 wide receivers set, 2 to either side. Delhomme out of the shotgun. Looks to the left, looks for Peppers, can't find anybody. Now throws it down around the 2-yard line where the reception is made. But this will be short of the goal line.
But it's enough for a first down.
It was caught by Foster, and Delhomme hurries things up, brings his line mates and his offense up to the line of scrimmage. First and goal from the 2. Delhomme runs it in for the score. Jake Delhomme got everybody up to the line of scrimmage and just took off on a quarterback sneak in which he largely went untouched into the end zone.
Well, I think I saw Jake motioning. He pulled the old Dan Marino thing. He got the first down. He was going up to the line of scrimmage doing like that, like he was going to spike the ball to stop the clock. He walked up there, and the Saints didn't have anybody loaded up over the center, and Jake just walked into the end zone.
Delhomme is fired up, as well he should be, as the Panthers put a touchdown on the board inside the final minute of the half. Extra point attempt by John Casey is up and through. And so turnovers, once again, the bugaboo of the Saints, resulting in 10 second quarter points for the Panthers. And with 41 seconds to play before halftime, our score is now the Panthers 17 and the Saints 7.
All right, well, out of those 2 turnovers, you see right there that Carolina has capitalized both times. Once with a field goal, there with a touchdown, and that's what gives them the 10-point lead. As Bobby said, you got to capitalize when you do get the turnovers.
The Panthers go 64 yards in 6 plays in 1 minute and 11 seconds. 2 interceptions of Bauman here in the second quarter. Mike Minter down around the goal line. 38-yard drive ensued with Casey settling for a 32-yard field goal. That made it 10-7. Then here in the waning minutes of the half, the interception by Al Wallace on the tip ball. It was twice batted around.
Did he have to?
Once by an on-rushing Panther defensive lineman, once by Antoine Smith.
I mentioned it to everybody.
And it came into Wallace's hands on his back, ruled an interception. The Panthers take it home from there, 64 yards in the 6 plays, with Delhomme going over on the quarterback sneak. The kickoff is fielded by one of the Saints up men at the 30-yard line. He brings it back to the 34 on the knuckleball. Looks like it was Lamont Hall who fielded that kickoff, and it was the backup tight end returning it 4 yards. Well, Jake Delhomme fired up in a large contingent of Delhomme fans across the way wearing their teal, black, and white Panther jerseys. Jake hailing from Breaux Bridge. Very popular player here despite being amongst the opposition still for Saints fans who have never forgotten him and the promise that he held as their backup quarterback. 1st and 10 from the 34-yard line of New Orleans. Bauman's in the shotgun. Retreating, looking, taken off with the football. Being chased from behind, he will slide down around the 40-yard line. Taken down there by Kendall Moorhead after a gain of 5. Clock continues to run, and it shows less than 15 seconds to play. Bauman not in any great hurry on 2nd and 4 from the 40-yard line. Out of the shotgun now, throws it short to Stecker. Stecker will break 1 tackle, but stays on the field of play for the final play of the half, unless a timeout has been called with 1 second left. Bauman's already running to the locker room along with a few of the Saint
timeout.
Members of the offense.
It's their 3rd and final charge team timeout.
Well, it seemed like if they were going to call timeout, they should have done it after Todd Bauman scrambled. And as you said, he just kind of casually went back there and got in a shotgun formation. They didn't get in the huddle, and he throws a little dump-off pass and letting the clock wind down, and then gets down to 1 second and apparently hasn't called timeout on the sideline.
He did, because Bauman was down around the 10-yard line, hurrying to the locker room, the LSU Tiger locker room, down to our left. The Saints with a timeout will give Bauman one more chance, probably to throw a Hail Mary here, Certainly the Panthers think so. They've already got 3 defenders standing down inside their 10-yard line. I remember a play like this before the half one time when Aaron Brooks refused to throw it. I think it was against the Panthers because he knew he was going to get hit so badly. Usually they'll roll someone out to give more time to the receivers to get downfield. Saints bunch 3 of them to the near side. Bauman drops straight back, steps up, throws a rainbow downfield, and it's a jump ball that'll be taken in by Gamble back at the 4-yard line, back to the 10, 15, 20, 25, he's to the 30, up to the 40, midfield. Stecker wrestles him out of bounds in front of the Panther bench on the final play of the half. That's another reason that Aaron Brooks didn't like to throw it. It hurts your statistics. That's right. Because that's the 3rd interception of the 2nd quarter by the Panthers on the final play of the half. A 52-yard return. We're at halftime here in Baton Rouge with the Panthers leading the Saints 17-7. This is the New Orleans Saints Radio Network.
Hibernia National Bank wants to welcome you back to the city and life you call home. Our commitment to you is to help you rebuild both. That's why we're offering the right loan right on time with the absolute lowest monthly payments on unsecured term loans. Extended terms are available and you can delay your first payment up to 60 days. With 135 years of experience, you can count on Hibernia for help in this time of need. For the help you need, right now, log on to hibernia.com or call 1-888-855-BANK. Hibernia National Bank, where service matters. Member FDIC, equal housing lender. Normal credit qualifications apply.
Ken Butler, president of Aaron's Sales and Lease Ownership. I see where those rent-owned stores are claiming they'll match our price on similar merchandise. You gotta be kidding me. They can't match the price or the merchandise at Aaron's. Aaron's has a huge selection of brand new, brand name furniture, electronics, appliances, and computers. And Aaron's doesn't just claim the lowest prices, we guarantee it. Or you can claim $100. So do the math. Nobody beats Aaron's. You can take that to the bank.
Get the good stuff.
Hey folks, Hokie Gajan here for Napa Auto Parts with gifts for everybody on your list. Register to win an authentic Swin OCC bicycle, one given away per participating Napa store. Napa toy delivery trucks are just $19.99. A 38-piece homeowner's tool set with carrying bag is just $49.99, and a 54-piece outdoor tool set with bag just $59.99. And a 2006 Nextel Cup scheduled t-shirt is just $9.99.
Napa, get the good stuff.
Only at participating Napa stores.
The heart of the Crescent City is you. Stay connected to home with the Big 870 WWL.
Tiger Stadium. Kenny Wilkerson with you at the half as the Panthers lead the Saints by a score of 17-7. Our first half stats are brought to you by Louisiana Reds, your local Caterpillar dealer. For the Saints, Aaron Stecker, 6 carries for 33 yards, and Todd Bauman is 8 out of 14, 109 yards, 1 touchdown. Is that right? 3 interceptions? Okay, 3 interceptions so far for Todd Bauman in his first start for the Saints this year. On the flip side of the coin, for the Carolina Panthers, Jake Delhomme, 8 of 10, 116 yards. He's been sacked 1 time. He also ran 1 touchdown in near the end of the first half there untouched. Steve Smith is carried at 1 time for 20 yards, but he has 4 catches for 37 yards. Deshaun Foster, 11 carries for 45 yards. So there you have it. Once again, it's halftime with the score, the Carolina Panthers 17 and the New Orleans Saints 7. We'll be back with our halftime guest of Renee Nato from WFAN and one of the local sportscasters after this on the New Orleans Saints Radio Network.
We're all expecting big things this season, and Kirschman's has everything you need for the big games ahead, including sofas, sectionals, recliners featuring Lazy Boy, big screen TVs, and more. Kirschman's unbeatable buying power brings you the guaranteed lowest prices on everything for your home. Leather and microfiber living rooms, master to youth bedrooms, casual to formal dining rooms, bedding, floor covering, TVs, and appliances. So sit back and enjoy a season that hopefully will live up to your expectations. And if you'd like something more comfortable to sit back in, come to Kirschman's, where they exceed customer expectations.
If you are Medicare eligible or caring for someone who is, you should know about the Medicare Advantage health plans offered by Tenet Choices. Healthcare Select, Choices Plus, and Tenet Choices 65. These health plans offer you more benefits than standard Medicare. A lot more. Call us or visit us online to learn about Tenet Choice's Medicare Advantage plans. Call 1-800-631-8443. That's 1-800-631-8443. Or visit tenetchoices.com. Stay connected to the information you need to rebuild your life. The Big 870 WWL.
Tiger Stadium, Kenny Wilkerson with you at the half as the Panthers lead the Saints by a score of 17-7. Our halftime interview brought to you by Subway. Subway, eat fresh. And joining us is Renee Nato, a name known to most here in the Crescent City as well as also in New York, because you've been covering the games for how many years now for WFAN?
20 years, Kenny.
20 years.
I began when I was 11, so figure it out.
What do you think so far? I mean, it's not necessarily what you would call a barn burner in Baton Rouge.
Well, no, but I'll tell you what, I've been impressed somewhat. I like what I've seen in Todd Bauman. He's had 3 interceptions. That Hail Mary was a giveaway, but the swatted pass that fell on the hands of Al Wallace was one of those things that just happens. But he's handled himself pretty well. Good pass protection. His composure. Of course, he's an 8-year veteran, Kenny, but I've liked what I've seen thus far in Todd Bauman.
When a quarterback like Jake Delhomme can run the sneak like he did there and go in the end zone untouched from where he was at, how do you feel about that, Renee? When do you see that? Is that lack of discipline of players? Is that coaching? Is that lack of focus? How do you see that?
Yeah, they mailed it in. They pretty much shut down at half before that last play, and that's you don't like to see that. I'm sure that they're gonna address that with the players, but. Man, I tell you, they just gave that one last one away. That was give me a 7 points.
Renee, what do you see as far as the future of this football team?
Location or just whatever. Location. Obviously you'll see some games, and I still feel you'll see some games in the Superdome next year, 3 games perhaps. As far as the talent and where this is going, you see massive changes, I would think, because of what's going on in the field, and with Aaron Brooks, Darren Howard, coaching staff, I would certainly think you'll see some changes there. But I think there's certainly some brighter days ahead. I think this team is going to be at least 3 years away before they make any kind of noise, Kenny, and they'll have to be, when they get the pieces in place, you'll see some young talent coming aboard, and they'll have to, produce and kind of work with that talent, kind of blend it in with what you have. Free agent, this year is going to be tough to get any free agents, as you well know.
And it makes you wonder what can even take place for the rest of even this season. There's still 2 more games to play. I know that doesn't sound like a lot, but it really is. 2 games that's a long, 2 or 2.5 games really technically is left in this season. It's a lot of football still to be played.
Well, they're very competitive with Carolina, and this team is going to be in the playoffs. They always play well. It's always a 6-point game, one way or the other, within 6 points. So they've played very competitively with Carolina, and that's a tribute to this team. If anyone has thought that they've just mailed it in and they just want to get the get the season over with, I think this game pretty much tells you that they've got a little fight yet in them, and I think they've had a good demonstration of what they can do, and they've played with a pretty good team. Carolina's pulled away by 10 points, but the Saints have shown enough where they still could make this game very close.
Renee, always good to see you. Thank you very much for taking time with us.
All mine.
Merry Christmas to you.
Same to you, Kenny.
Okay, Renee Nato from here in the well, I shouldn't say here, we're in Baton Rouge, but from the city of New Orleans, and one of the reporters for WFAN up in New York on game day. We'll continue. We'll be back halftime with the score once again, the Panthers 17, the Saints 7. Back with comments from our own Bobby Hebert after this on the New Orleans Saints Radio Network.
You wouldn't want your favorite team to play only one side of the ball. So when it comes to insurance, why settle for someone that can only handle your auto policy? Bring your home and auto insurance to Allstate now, and you can save big on both. You deserve someone that can tackle more. That's Allstate, Stan. Are you in good hands?
Hey, football fans, to learn more, call your local Allstate agent. Subject to availability and qualifications. Allstate Insurance Company, Allstate Property and Casualty Insurance Company, and Allstate Indemnity Company, Northbrook, Illinois.
America is choosing Chrysler, and during the Chrysler year-end event, you've got even more to choose from. Get a generous year-end bonus cash when financed through Chrysler Financial, or choose our Miles of Freedom plan. 2 years or 24,000 miles of gas and scheduled maintenance, and a 5-year, 60,000-mile mechanical limited warranty. 1 great lineup, 2 great deals. Only at the Chrysler year-end event until January 3rd. Maximum gas amount $23.67. 6,000 miles scheduled maintenance intervals for 2 years or 24,000 miles. See dealer for details and a copy of the mechanical limited warranty. Excludes 300.
The heart of the Crescent City is you. Stay connected and informed with the Big 870 WWL.
Welcome back to Tiger Stadium. Kenny Wilkerson with you at the half as the Panthers lead the Saints 17-7. Let's pause 10 seconds for station identification on the New Orleans Saints Radio Network.
From the heart of the Crescent City, it's Entercom Communication Stations, the Big 870 WWL New Orleans and Cool 105.3 WTKL New Orleans.
Our own Bobby Hebert joining us now here in the broadcast booth. And Bobby, 17-7. I don't know.
Well, it looks like they kind of gave up the ghost towards the end of the second quarter. You know, I've always said how they handle adversity. Well, come on, you got to fight back. And it just seemed like they lost a little fight. It'll be interesting to see if they have another debacle in the second half like they did against Atlanta. You know, Bauman started out great. I mean, he was 5 for 5, had a beautiful pass, as good as any quarterback in the NFL, the 23-yard touchdown strike to Dante Stallworth. But, Kenny, the bottom line is you got to score points after turnovers. The defense makes a big turnover, and it was 3rd and 9. That was the only play I thought that Bauman, really, you got to know the situation. It was 3rd and 9. He forces the ball in there, getting interceptions where he could have easily, you know, out that drive, gotten a touchdown. We look at Carolina, after the turnovers, they get 10 points. The Saints, you know, get 0. One thing I noticed Carolina doing at the beginning, they were trying to confuse Bauman, like faking the blitz and then backing out. So you might see even more of that to try and discourage him. But it's a shame that he has 3 interceptions. I mean, the batted ball as a quarterback, you always hate that. And but, you know, the Hail Mary, that's just part of it. But overall, I've been pleased with the main thing, why I think he's playing with confidence, because the offensive line has given him a great pass protection.
Yeah, you know, what you pointed out during the first half, Bobby, as good as this defensive line is for the Panthers, they were giving him good protection, enough for him to even throw the ball and look and see who caught it, when that's normally not the case.
No, that's 2 games in a row now so far, I should say 6 quarters. Jamal Brown, you haven't heard Julius Pepper's name. No, he's been passed, so that's bright for the future. You're trying to look for something bright. I tell you what, they've handled the pass rush of Carolina. Now, it's going to be so important that they come out in the third quarter and show some moxie, show some guts. I mean, just don't, you know, go through the motions. And I'll be interested to see how Coach Hazard has them coming out in the second half.
All right, Bobby, we'll be talking after the game.
All right, thank you, Kenny.
Okay, halftime is just about wrapped up. The score, the Carolina Panthers 17 and the Saints 7. We'll be back with the start of the second half right after this on the New Orleans Saints Radio Network.
After working all day, there's nothing like a hot bubble bath. And if you've got a large family like ours, you know how much hot water it takes to get everyone out of the bathroom in the morning. Fortunately, we've got propane water heaters in our home. Propane heats water twice as fast as electric water heaters and costs a lot less to operate. I'm Jordan Black from Zachary, Louisiana. Believe me, our family saves a ton of money with propane water heaters. To find out more, go to www.louisianapropane.com.
Glad you could come to my office today, Mr. Kenny, because I found the perfect job for you.
I guess you just have to know where to look.
That's true. And in this case, it's in Arizona.
Oh, but I don't want to move to
What do you mean? You'll love Arizona. If you think about it, Mr. Kenny, Arizona's a lot like here, only with more cactuses.
It's cacti.
Uh-huh.
There's an easier way to find a local job. Visit NOLA.com. NOLA.com has more Greater New Orleans jobs and employers, so it's easier to find a job you love in the place you love. The best local jobs are on NOLA.com.
As Greater New Orleans rebuilds, stay connected with the Big 870 WWL.
Welcome back to Baton Rouge. Jim Henderson alongside our playing well third Hokie Gajan. Kenny Wilkerson as well, making his way back down to the sideline. The Saints will be kicking off the football to begin the second half, trailing the Panthers by a score of 17-7.
Yeah, I'm playing hurt, but who would have figured that the coldest game we'd play this year would be in the Tiger Stadium? I mean, we lucked out up there in New England and New York. They come here to Baton Rouge, and with that cold front coming through yesterday and sitting up here in this shady press box, a little chilly.
It is a little chilly.
It's a chicken horse.
The folks across the way in the sunlight are enjoying a very pleasant afternoon, but here on this side of the stadium, it is a little nippy. Here's Berger's kickoff, fielded by Robertson on the run at the 13 to the 20. Almost slips down there, retains his footing, and will be brought down as he crosses his 25 up to around the 27-yard line. Give him 14 yards on the return. Well, in the first half, Deshaun Foster carried 11 times for 45 yards, the leading Panther ball carrier. Aaron Stecker carried 6 times for 33 as the leading Saint ball carrier. There was a Panthers shaken up on the return. Jake Delhomme was 8 out of 10 for 116 yards. He was sacked once, did not throw a touchdown nor an interception. His longest gainer was 40 yards. His rating 115. Todd Bauman, 8 out of 14 for 109 yards. He too was fairly well protected. In fact, even better so than Delhomme. He was not sacked. Threw the touchdown to Stallworth, but also threw 3 picks. His rating of 66.4. Brad Hoover, the fullback for the Panthers, shaken up on the return by Robertson. One thing we mentioned during the break that we were saying usually on a Hail Mary like that, the quarterback will roll out to give his receivers more time to get downfield. Todd just stood in the pocket, wafted the ball down there, and you could have picked a number among the 3 defensive backs for the Panthers as to who was going to get the chance to intercept because no Saint wide receiver had gotten downfield that far.
Yeah, and I mean, I think that Todd Bauman's got to be kind of pleased with his first half performance because the tip ball and then the Hail Mary at the end, those are just not bad decisions.
1st and 10 from his 27. Foster gets the carry up to the 30. Give him 3.
I mean, you're just throwing that thing up there for grabs anyway, and you're just hoping one of your guys will get underneath it or out jump somebody or whatever else. So I don't think that's anything to shake his confidence.
How would you rate Todd Bauman's performance through the first 30 minutes?
I tell you what, I was pleased. I mean, I know you can look at the 3 interceptions and say, oh my gosh, how can you be pleased with it? Because it wasn't like all 3 of those were bad decisions. He made one bad decision when he threw it to Minter.
2nd and 7 from the 30-yard line of the Panthers. Handoff Foster. Grant misses him in the backfield. Bockwalt misses him. And he also can't be tackled by Bullocks. Gets outside of McKenzie and is finally forced out of bounds beyond the 35-yard line. That's a gain of 6. Could have been a loss of 2 or 3 if Grant had him in the backfield.
Well, this morning, earlier in the ball game, I should say, you were talking about how much better we thought the Saints tackling was this year. Had it improved, and you didn't have all those games right there. Deshaun Foster makes 4 people miss on 1 carry.
And it'll bring up 3rd and 1 at the Carolina 36. Steve Smith had lined up to the wrong side of the formation. Jake Delhomme moves him over to the right side, the short side of the field. Backs in an eye. Handoff Foster. Cuts back against the grain. Has the first down. Taken down from behind by Charles Grant. The defensive end who chases the play down. Not before it's a first down for Carolina. Well, the Saints trailing at halftime here today by a score of 17-7. They are 0-7 this season when they do trail at halftime. And Hokie, they are 0-10 when they trail at the end of the game. That's too, I wanted to just make mention of that.
Is that just this year, or did that include last year?
Just this year.
Okay.
1st and 10 for the Panthers up at the Carolina 42. 13-10 to play 3rd quarter. Delhomme to throw. Pumps. Going to throw down the middle, and it's going to be incomplete. Broken up by Kraft. Tried to get it to Drew Carter, who had that big 40-yard reception on the Panthers' first series that helped set up the opening touchdown of this game.
Well, I hate to sound like a smart aleck, but that's really the first nice play that Jason Kraft has made here in quite some time. Usually talking about somebody getting behind him or Jason Kraft's on the coverage in the end zone, but in that case, he did make a nice play.
He has had 3 interceptions this season. The first came in the opening game of the year against Carolina, but he has been picked on a lot. 2nd and 10 from the 42 of the Panthers. Delhomme hands it off to Goings. He runs up the back of his blocker and still manages to get it to the 45-yard line. And it'll bring up 3rd down after a gain of 3. If you're joining us a bit late, Stephen Davis, placed on injured reserve late in the week by the Panthers. Rod Smart, who is also a backup running back and their primary kickoff returner, deactivated today, and that surprised a few people up here amongst the Carolina broadcast team we visited with before the game. 3rd and 7 from the Panther 45. Out of the shotgun, Delhomme throws, and it's going to be caught by Carter. McKenzie brings him down. Looks to be a first down. See when they give him forward progress, and they do. It's good by about a yard of surpassing the sticks on the far sideline, so it'll be a first down for the Panthers after an 8-yard gain. Drew Carter is a second-year man out of Ohio State, a 6th-round draft choice. Good size, 6'3" and 200 pounds. They have been missing a compliment to Steve Smith. Carter played very well in preseason for them, but was largely inactive this season. Didn't have a catch coming into this game. 1st and 10 for the Panthers at the St. 47. Foster does a 360 at the line of scrimmage and doesn't get anything. No gain on the play as he's wrapped up by Colby Bockwell. It's been all Steve Smith primarily in the Panther passing attack. Colbert came into this game with 23 catches. Tight end Mangum with 19. Rod Gardner, backup from Clemson, the former Redskin, was waived this week by the Panthers as he fell out of favor quickly in his move home. 2nd and 10 from the St. 47. Bootleg as Delhomme rolls to his right, throws on the run, incomplete. Contact between McKenzie and Smith. Looks like this will go against Mike McKenzie. Down around the 31-yard line as Smith was making his break to the sideline. Delhomme comes walking up to eavesdrop on the huddle of the officials.
There are fouls against both teams on this play. Pass interference, offense number 89. Pass interference, defense number 34. By rule, these penalties will offset. 2nd down.
You don't see that too
often. No, not often at all.
So Steve Smith pushed off Mike McKenzie, who pushed off Steve Smith. I don't think I have ever seen that. Pass interference on both players offsetting as they were tangled up down around the 32-yard line.
Jim, you ought to know by now, as long as being around the Saints, if you hadn't seen it, just stick around a little while because it's going to happen.
Yes, Saints football. It's indescribable. 2nd and 10 from the 47. Here's Delhomme as he delivers the football. It's a rainbow thrown downfield for Carter. Incomplete. McKenzie running with him step for step, swatted it away. Delhomme was buried as he delivered the football and has a few words for the referee after he was hit by Willie Whitehead and also Brian Young when he got rid of the ball.
And this NFL scoreboard is brought to you by A1 Appliance and Electronics. Houston 24, Arizona 10. San Diego still holding Indianapolis scoreless 13-0 at halftime. Jacksonville 7, San Francisco 6. The Jets and Miami tied up at 10 apiece. Pittsburgh 10, Minnesota 3. St. Louis leads Philadelphia 13-7. And Tennessee over Seattle 21-14.
Panthers 6 out of 9 in 3rd down conversions. On 3rd and 10 here, they set up the screen to Goings. And he's going to be brought down by Slaughter along with Kraft. Well short of the first down at the 41-yard line. TJ Slaughter getting a chance to play some at linebacker. That's a 6-yard gain, but the Panthers will punt it away as their opening drive of the second half stalls. Az Hakim awaits the punt by Baker, who stands at the Panther 45-yard line. It's a wobbly punt off the side of his foot that's going to hit around the 14, be picked up by Hakim on a bounce, and he'll get back to around the 14. After the 33-yard punt, followed by the 5-yard return by Hakim, there's a timeout on the field with 10:03 to play in the 3rd quarter. Panthers 17 and the Saints 7. This is the New Orleans Saints Radio Network.
Guest rooms have been completely refurbished and all 3 restaurants are being renovated, as well as the famous Carousel Bar and Lounge at the Hotel Modeleone in the French Quarter. It's all part of a multi-million-dollar renovation of this historic treasure. The Carousel Bar is a great place to drink before or after the game. Enjoy a fabulous dinner prepared by Chef Randy Buck in the Hunt Room. Hotel Modeleone is also a wonderful place to have your wedding reception. Coming to New Orleans for the big game? Take advantage of special rates for football fans. Hotel Modeleone. Call 1-800-535-9595. Louisiana Machinery is hiring diesel technicians. Louisiana Machinery offers excellent pay, group medical, 401k, pension, life insurance, vacation and holidays, and now a sign-on bonus. Louisiana Machinery is a statewide authorized cat dealer and leader in diesel-powered industrial equipment. They'll train you on new products. If you have your own tools, call 1-800-374-1197. 1-800-374-1197. Louisiana Machinery, an equal opportunity employer. America is choosing Jeep brand, and during the Jeep year-end event, you've got even more to choose from. Choose generous year-end bonus cash when financed through Chrysler Financial, or get our Miles of Freedom plan, 2 full years or 24,000 miles of gas and scheduled maintenance, and a 5-year or 60,000-mile mechanical limited warranty. One great lineup, 2 great deals, only at the Jeep year-end event until January 3rd. Maximum gas amount $23.67, 6,000 miles scheduled maintenance intervals for 2 years or 24,000 miles. See dealer for details and a copy of the mechanical limited warranty. Offers exclude SRT 8 models. Jeep is a registered trademark of Daimler Chrysler. As Greater New Orleans rebuilds, stay connected to the latest with the Big 870 WWL.
O'Reilly Auto Parts will be donating $3 per rushing yards at the Saints game today to Deuce McAllister.
It's 0-3 here at their home away from home in this season. 1st and 10 from the Saint 13-yard line. Backs off set, play action, Bauman. A lot of time. Has a lot of time, but now he runs out of it and throws it incomplete for Carney as he was about to be sacked by Jordan Karstens. Bauman has not been hurried, really, and has not been sacked in this game. He had plenty of time there, but just couldn't find an open receiver.
Well, I can tell you one thing. Julius Peppers ain't getting double teamed today. Jamal Brown, every time I've looked down there, it's just been the two of them one-on-one, and Peppers' name had not been called.
No, it has not. It'll bring up 2nd and 10 from the Saint 13. New Orleans trailing 17-7 in this contest. Antoine Smith, the running back, gets the call. Runs left side, squirts through a bit of a crevice. Mike Minter trips him up and takes him down at the 17-yard line. It'll bring up 3rd down after a gain of 5. These Panthers gave up 112 yards rushing to the Cadillac for Tampa Bay last week, but they've done a better job against the Saints here today, although the Saints have stayed pretty much on schedule with their running attack, avoiding many plays for a loss or no gain. 3rd and 5 from the 18 of New Orleans. Bauman in the shotgun. Panthers rush 4. Bauman throws, and it's incomplete, almost picked off by Witherspoon, intended for Zach Hilton. Witherspoon at the 20-yard line could have strolled into the end zone for a touchdown. And Bauman, after a start in which he completed his first 5, has made some ill-advised throws recently. That one was read all the way by the linebacker Witherspoon, the 4th-year backer out of Georgia. False start by the Saints as they line up to punt.
Offense, number 56. 5-yard penalty remains 4th down.
Alfred Fincher. There's a guy whose name has not been called very often this year for positive reasons. Had a lot of penalties against him in the kicking game, the 3rd-round draft choice of the Saints out of UConn. Here's the punt by Berger. Smith says, get away from it. Hits at the 43, bounds past Smith. He bobbles it back at the 23, picks it up at the 18. Hauser has him at the 24. Well, Smith almost a disastrous turn of events there as the ball was kicked low and short. He said to get away from it as it bounded past him. He tried to make a play. It's going to be a punt of 69 yards followed by a 6-yard desperation return by Smith. Timeout on the field, 8:56 to play 3rd quarter. Panthers 17 and the Saints 7. This is the New Orleans Saints Radio Network.
It was the rhythm of every day, the coming and going of neighbors, friends, and family. The simple goodness of life here that kept us together then and brings us together now. To the people of this region who have suffered so much, we extend a healing hand and the promise of hope for a new beginning. Slidell Memorial Hospital. Yesterday, today, and tomorrow.
Are you looking for lower prices on your auto parts? Well, come to O'Reilly. You'll find lower prices on top quality brand name parts every day. Our products are manufactured by the very best in the business. Wix, Monroe, Wagner, Borg-Warner, Motorcraft, Fram, Gates, Champion, Bosch, Castrol, Pennzoil, Valvoline, and the list goes on and on. Over 100,000 parts and counting. Save more at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Welch Generators and Equipment Rentals is so much more than just a generator supply house. All you industrial plant managers, shipbuilding supervisors, restoration contractors, and coating applicators, you need dehumidifiers and heaters. Welch can solve your challenge. 24/7 service. Welch Dehumidifiers and Heaters do the job. Service is their specialty. Locally owned but serving national and international firms. Welch Dehumidifiers and Heaters. Order yours today. 1-800-256-1924.
The heart of the Crescent City is you. Stay connected to home with the Big 870 WWL.
It's a New Orleans Saints tradition to turn down the sound on your TV and turn up the Saints Radio Network next Saturday at noon when the Saints take on the Detroit Lions. Turn up the Saints Radio Network.
1st and 10 for the Panthers from the Carolina 24. They lead at 17-7. Handoff Foster. Spins away from the line of scrimmage from Bockwalt, and with his back to the secondary, falls to the 30-yard line. A gain of 5. Well, we want to remind everybody that tomorrow between 11 a.m. and 12:30, Steve Gleason and Shad Meyer will be handing out backpacks filled with school supplies to New Orleans public school students. That's going to be at Ben Franklin Elementary, 1301 North Durbany. Nice gesture by Steve Gleason and Shad Meyer. Hope a lot of kids will take advantage of that. On 2nd down, the pitch goes to Foster, right side. Whitehead gets him as he cuts back after a short gain to around the 31-yard line. Give him 2 on the carry. Well, what a great job John Fox did as the head coach of the Panthers last year. After that 1-7 start, they won 6 out of their last 8. Low-key guy, defensive-minded, very solid coach. He's in some pretty exclusive company. Only John Fox, Vince Lombardi, and Bill Parcells took a team that had won 1 game and went to the playoffs with them in his first year as that team's head coach. Never panicked last year and did a terrific job under a siege of injuries. 3rd and 3 from the 31-yard line of the Panthers. Movement up front, no flag. Delome's going to throw. It's caught. No. Dropped by Colbert. Coming back at the 40-yard line. There is a flag down now on the far side of the field. There was movement up front. Looked like the Saints may have encroached on the hard count by Delome.
Offside. Defense, number 91, in the neutral zone at the snap. This 5-yard penalty will result in a first down.
And they did. Saints would have gotten the football back on the Colbert drop. Instead, it's going to be a first down on the penalty. The kind of things that happen to football teams that are 3-10. So the drive continues for the Panthers, as the Saints have been penalized 7 times in this game. 1st and 10 from the Panther 36-yard line. 7:28 to play third quarter. 17-7 Carolina. Foster slips, gets back up, and now will be taken down by the Saints, who converge at the line of scrimmage. The field is really torn up here between the hash marks. Of course, LSU and the Saints played on this field. In fact, the Saints played the day after the Panthers played in their first 2 games here. The 3rd game that was played here against Tampa Bay occurred on the weekend that the Tigers were playing in the SEC Championship in Atlanta. The Saints have had the field to themselves since, have planted some ryegrass, and that's taken hold quite well outside the hash marks, but it's really worn down and torn up between those hash marks, very sandy footing. On 2nd and 10 from the 36, Foster met by Grant. No gain on the play. At the most, they might credit him with 1. Charles Grant and Willie Whitehead doing a good job at the point of attack. What do you think's going through Aaron Brooks' mind on the sideline today?
So this is what it looks like to be sitting over here.
Is he saying, I can see why people don't pay to play, pay to watch us play?
I'm not sure that. I mean, when Todd Bowman threw his touchdown in the first quarter, Aaron did run out there and congratulate him coming off the field, so it showed some team spirit.
3rd and 9 from the 37-yard line of the Panthers. Delhomme retreats. Saints can't get to him with their pass rush. Throws it downfield, incomplete for Kroll. Freddie Thomas on the coverage of the veteran. And the Panthers will have to punt it away. Saints had brought no pressure whatsoever against Delhomme, but he couldn't connect with the veteran Ricky Prohl, the 16-year man out of Wake Forest. Let's pause 10 seconds for station identification on the New Orleans Saints radio network.
From the heart of the Crescent City, it's Entercom Communication Stations, the Big 870 WWL New Orleans, and Cool 105.3 WTKL New Orleans.
Jason Baker to punt it away. Saints with the return on. He's hit a dandy. Hakeem falls down as it hits at the 12, and it's going to be picked up by a Saint coming back to block. That might have been
Fred Thomas.
Yeah, so it was Fred Thomas. Hakeem let the ball go. It took a kick back toward the Panthers, and coming back down, peeling back down to block, Freddie Thomas picked it up, a 49-yard punt, and nothing on the return by Thomas. 5:44 to play third quarter. Panthers 17 and Saints 7. This is the New Orleans Saints Radio Network.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Wow, they scanned my whole body from head to toe already.
With Thibodeau Regional's Lightspeed 64-slice CT scanner, even our smallest patients like how quickly and accurately we can scan their body. Faster exams mean less anxiety. The clearer, sharper images allow for quicker diagnosis and treatment. Thibodeau Regional Medical Center, continuing to bring you more, better, and faster technology.
What's the best way to buy auto insurance? At U.S. Agencies, the answer's easy. The best way is your way. U.S. Agencies makes buying car insurance easy and affordable. And you get to choose how. Stop by any convenient location, call them on the phone, or log on to usagencies.com. Get a quote, compare rates, even buy your policy. It's everything you need. 3 great ways. 1 great company, U.S. Agencies. Low-cost auto insurance that lets you enjoy the ride. Call them today, 928-9000.
We're all expecting big things this season, and Kirschman's has everything you need for the big games ahead, including sofas, sectionals, recliners featuring Lazy Boy, big screen TVs, and more. Kirschman's unbeatable buying power brings you the guaranteed lowest prices on everything for your home. Leather and microfiber living rooms, master to youth bedrooms, casual to formal dining rooms, bedding, floor covering, TVs, and appliances. So sit back and enjoy a season that hopefully will live up to your expectations. And if you'd like something more comfortable to sit back in, come to Kirschman's, where they exceed customer expectations.
Stay connected to the information you need to rebuild your life. The Big 870 WWL.
32,551 tickets distributed for this game. The Saints' smallest crowd of the season. Well, Todd Bowman just 3 out of 11 after completing his first 5 passes. He'll hand it off on first down to Smith, and he is hit immediately by Jordan Karstens, the right defensive tackle for the Panthers. No gain on the play. And that's been pretty typical of the Saints in this game, handing it off to Smith on first down, and they had stayed on schedule pretty much, as I mentioned earlier, avoiding carries for losses. Julius Peppers is shaken up, and he's going to limp to the sideline, favoring his left ankle. Peppers coming into this game with 7.5 sacks, but as Hokie mentioned, right tackle Jamal Brown has made it a quiet day for Peppers, as he did in the opener of the season when the Saints took that 23-20 thriller in Carolina. 2nd and 10 for Todd Bowman and the Saints at the New Orleans 14-yard line. Backs in an eye, tailback Stecker. Stallworth in motion left to right, joining Horn, who has been exceedingly quiet today. Here's Bowman throwing it out on the right flat to Stecker. And Stecker really takes on Ken Lucas. And you could hear with the per-ab mic, Lucas go, oh! That was A terrific hit by Aaron Stecker on the cornerback, right in front of the Fox microphone.
Well, I mean, I know there's been some talk here over the last couple of weeks of maybe some player just kind of turning it in, the season's over with. That is one guy right there that has not quit this entire season. I mean, he has played like that from day one.
9-yard gain brings up 3rd and 1 at the St. 24. Mentioned Joe Horn being quiet. Has just 1 catch for 6 yards in this game. 3rd and 1, St. 24-yard line. Bauman has to call timeout with the play clock winding down.
It's their first charge team timeout.
Saints take their first timeout of the second half with 4:35 to play in the third quarter and trailing the Panthers 17-7. This is the New Orleans Saints Radio Network.
A uniform says a lot about who you are. Take a bellman. With his uniform, he's a courteous hotel employee. Without it, he's a stranger walking away with your luggage. Uniforms can say a lot about your employees, too. We're Cintas, the uniform people, and it's our job to make your employees look and feel great. Call Cintas at 1-800-CINTAS-1. With Cintas uniforms, your employees will look like a team of professionals. Without them, well, go take a look for yourself.
Wherever there's work to be done, there's Abita Springs Water. That's why you can call the Abita Man if you're cleaning or rebuilding in the wake of Katrina. With several bottle sizes and dispensing units to choose from, the Abita Man can satisfy thirst with healthy natural water delivered to your doorstep every 2 weeks. Call 828-2500 today for one of our local customer service reps. They're always friendly and ready to help. That's 828-2500 for convenient delivery. Because wherever there's work to be done, there's Abita Springs Water.
Abita Man can. Abita Man can.
What does America need right now? Some freedom. Introducing our Miles of Freedom plan. Now until the end of the year, you'll get 2 full years or 24,000 miles of gas and scheduled maintenance on select Dodge models, plus a 5-year or 60,000-mile limited warranty. Visit Dodge.com/freedom to grab life and some freedom. That's exactly what America needs and what I need. Maximum gas amount 2367, 6,000 miles. Scheduled maintenance intervals for 2 years or 24,000 miles. See dealer for details and a copy of the mechanical limited warranty. Not available on Charger, Magnum, Viper, Sprinter, and SRT8 models.
The heart of the Crescent City is you. Stay connected and informed with the Big 870 WWL.
This season a lost cause for the Saints. Primary interest, besides where this team will play next year, is where will they draft? And we'll try to keep you up to date here in the second half with some of the people they're in contention for a high draft spot with. San Francisco's 1-2, the Saints at 1-3, Jets have 1-3, Houston just won. We'll try to keep you up to date on some of those other scores that may impact the Saints' drafting position. 3rd and 1 from the New Orleans 24. Bauman's going to sneak it, and a flag has been thrown. False start, Saints. Come up to the line of scrimmage. Somebody wasn't set as they tried to go on a quick count and sneak it for the first down.
Illegal snap. False start on the center. 5-yard penalty remains. Blue down.
And Charles Bentley with his palms turned upward. What did I do? Apparently enough to cost the Saints 5 yards back to the 19-yard line. So instead of 3rd and 1, it'll be 3rd and 6.
Well, Jim, those games that you were mentioning, San Diego now leads Indianapolis 16-3. Indy finally gets on the board. Houston leads Arizona 27-10. San Francisco and Jacksonville 7, San Fran 6, and the Jets lead Miami 17-10.
On 3rd and 6 from the 19, chased from the pocket is Bauman by Morgan to the near sideline, throws it away, incomplete.
That defensive holding?
Back up at the 40-yard line, there's a flag. So if it's defensive holding, the Saints will get 5 yards and a first down. Well, this series, a comedy of errors for both teams. As the officials confer at the 25-yard line. Tony Corrente, the referee today.
Defense. This 5-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Holding in the secondary by the Panthers, a 5-yard mark off and a Saint first down.
The number was 24.
Ricky Manning Jr. guilty of the traction. Manning Jr., who's been supplanted by Ken Lucas, a free agent pickup from Seattle, and he has been a welcome addition to this team's secondary with 4 interceptions. 1st and 10 Saints from the New Orleans 24. 4:30 to play third quarter. Bauman play action, steps up and delivers behind Stallworth and incomplete. Still a catchable ball up at the 38-yard line.
Well, Todd's had a little bit of that misfortune with him today, too. Some drop balls by some of his receivers, and to go along with the interception, a couple of bad decisions on his part. So right now he's kind of starting to tail off a little bit from his hot performance the way he started out the ball game.
5 through the air as he was initially. 2nd and 10 from the Saint 24. Ace formation, the lone setback, Smith. He gets the carry, and he gets about a yard to the 25. And it'll bring up 3rd down. Well, you wonder what this attack might have been like if Deuce McAllister had stayed healthy and you could have kept a fresher Antoine Smith behind him and a fresher Aaron Stecker. Maybe that threesome could have been what they hoped it would be when they put them together in the offseason, but after McAllister tore up that knee against the Packers, it's been Smith and Stecker primarily carrying the football, and occasionally spelled by Anthony Thomas, although we haven't seen him yet here today. 3rd and 9 from the 25 of New Orleans. Bauman from the shotgun. Panthers rush 3. Bauman steps up, throws, and it's incomplete. Way over the head of Horn at the Carolina 45. Devery Henderson was farther downfield.
That was one of the things that we remarked about Todd Bauman during training camp, is that he has a tendency, he knows who to go to with the football, but he has a tendency to get wild. And when he does, he starts throwing the ball high.
As he did there. Berger's punt. Gamble comes up and fields it at the 34 to the 40. Falling forward to the 41. Kevin Hauser downfield after snapping the ball and making the tackle. A 41-yard punt by Berger, a 7-yard return by Gamble. A timeout on the field with 3:25 to play in the third quarter. Panthers on top of the Saints 17-7. This is the New Orleans Saints Radio Network.
Holiday greetings from Budweiser. The people who bring you Budweiser wish you and yours the very best of everything this holiday season. Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis, Missouri.
Ken Butler, president of Aaron's Sales and Lease Ownership.
See where those rent-owned stores are claiming they'll match our price on similar merchandise. You gotta be kidding me. They can't match the price or the merchandise at Aaron's. Aaron's has a huge selection of brand new, brand name furniture, electronics, appliances, and computers. And Aaron's doesn't just claim the lowest prices, we guarantee it. Or you can claim $100. So do the math. Nobody beats Aaron's. You can take that to the bank.
I'd like to give a speech to Ken here. Ken, you always know how to help.
Greg?
Just a minute, Carol. To Ken, the guy who lets me change my Altel plan whenever I darn well feel like it without changing my contract.
Honey, Ken has other customers.
Sorry, I just get so emotional every time I come in here.
Greg, put Ken down. When Altel lets you change your plan whenever you feel like it without changing your contract, what's not to love? See store or Altel.com for details.
As Greater New Orleans rebuilds, stay connected with the Big 870 WWL.
I see Michael Lewis down there in sweats, warming up Devery Henderson on the sideline. Boy, the Saints lost a lot when they lost him, didn't they? In the return game, they've had no threat this season, returning either kickoffs or punts. Panthers 1st and 10 at the Carolina 41. Mangum in motion. Paxson and Delhomme to throw. Down the middle of the field, and it's incomplete. Intended for Steve Smith. He wanted no part of that football with 3 Saints converging on it. He just let that one go over his head and made no attempt to make a catch of it.
Well, speaking of Michael Lewis, the good news is I saw in a pregame warm-ups, he came jogging out of the Saints locker room, and, you know, with that knee injury that he suffered, they're figuring on about a year for full recovery on that. So, believe me, he didn't come darting out of that gate. It was just a pretty decent little fast-paced jog. He jogged over here to the Saints bench and was watching the teams warm up.
2nd and 10 from the 41-yard line of the Panthers. Here's the handoff to Foster, running room right side. Takes it inside of Bullocks. And with some help from Sullivan, he'll be taken down around the 47-yard line, just beyond the 47, nose of the football. Rests on the 47-yard line of the Panthers. Saints got to a 7-7 game in the first quarter and a touchdown from Bauman to Stallworth, but that's been their only score. Panthers scored 10 points in the second quarter. We've been scoreless so far here in a very quiet third. 3rd and 3 from the Panther 48. Delhomme in the shotgun. Looks to his right, finds no one. Pulls it down twice, now throws it upfield, and it's going to be caught by Smith. He gets away from McKenzie, and he'll be taken out of bounds by Kraft and Bullocks at the 20-yard line, a 33-yard gain.
Well, when you give a quarterback that much time, I don't really care who it is, if it's Jake Delhomme or if it's Todd Bauman or whoever, they're going to find somebody open. A receiver is going to get open somewhere in a dead spot in the field.
And they really went off Smith and just left him alone.
And that's it. That's the last guy you want to leave alone.
Definitely don't want to leave him alone. They had coverage initially, and then after Delhomme pumped a couple of times, they just let him go and went to a more shallow receiver. 1st and 10 for the Panthers at the Saint 20-yard line. This is Hoover. Wrestled down by Colby Bachwald at the 16-yard line after a gain of 4. Well, this is a game has quickly lost its luster after the Saints pulled into that 7-7 tie. They haven't done a whole lot right since. Bauman suffered 3 interceptions in the second quarter and hasn't done much here in the third. Meanwhile, the Panthers with a score here might really put this one out of reach, considering how the Saint offense is struggling. 2nd and 6 at the Saint 16. Sideman in motion. Pitch it to Foster, sweeping left inside the 15-yard line. Short gain on the play of just a yard. Foster doesn't seem to have a great deal of speed. He's a fairly powerful back, but he's got a 30-yard carry to his credit so far this season, but averaging just 4 yards per carry coming into this game. Carried 14 times for 46 yards, less than 4 yards a carry in the opener against the Saints. Carried 11 for 45 here in the first half. This is 3rd and 5 from the 15-yard line of the Saints. Carter split out wide to the right, Smith wide left, where he's covered by Fakir Brown. That's what Delhomme looks for. Gets it, breaks the tackle, spins into the end zone, touchdown. Boy, oh boy, is that easy. Just look for Steve Smith, lined up against Fakir Brown, hit him on the near side of the field. Smith pirouettes away from Brown. Thomas can't help on the tackle, and into the end zone is Steve Smith for the touchdown of 15 yards.
Well, without question, this is the worst tackling exhibition that the Saints have put on this season. Right here, it gets 2 people missing, Fakir Brown and then Fred Thomas, and it's just a matter of Stephen Smith wanting a little bit more, wanting to get into that end zone and pad his total on touchdowns this year.
All it was just a slant, simple slant run by Smith, and Delhomme didn't think about anybody else. That's where he was going to go with the football, and for good reason. John Casey adds the extra point, and with 27 seconds remaining in the third quarter, the Panthers have now opened up a 24-7 lead over the Saints.
Yeah, and it's going to put the Saints offense right now in a pass-first mode. I don't see any way if they're expecting to get back into this game. And really and truly, that's where you're going to have to find out if Todd Bauman can be a starter or a backup in this league, is how does he do when he's behind and has to play catch-up. So he needs to go out there, kind of forget the playbook, and you know what? Just start throwing the ball all over the lot, because you'll lose the interest of the fans real quick if they don't make this thing interesting somehow.
The Which kind of brings me to the point we were making earlier that maybe that's a role that Adrian McPherson could occupy should a game be one-sided next week against the Lions in San Antonio. Possibility that he could, with his great athletic ability, come down and make a few things happen in kind of an open court game, as it were.
Yeah, we even talked about that before the game, that one thing that Adrian McPherson will do, he'll generate some excitement amongst the fans, because everybody, let me see what this guy can do. Let's face it, how many people really saw him play in those handful of games when he was at Florida State? And then how many people watched him when he was in arena football? So they hear about all the talent that this guy's got. You might as well throw him out there and let him see what he can do.
Well, the Panthers go 59 yards in 6 plays in 2 minutes and 58 seconds. A 15-yard touchdown strike to home to Steve Smith. For Smith, his second touchdown of the day. And he has 6 catches for 85 yards and a score, and the 20-yard touchdown run on the end around that opened the scoring back in the first quarter. So Steve Smith continues
an average day, three touchdowns.
Continues to bolster his credentials for all-pro honors. And now with those 11 touchdowns receiving coming into this game, he trailed only Marvin Harrison of the Colts, who had 12 touchdown receptions.
Well, but you think about the two different offenses that those teams are running. I mean, Marvin Harrison is playing in a system that's just tailor-made for a good receiver.
Kickoff angle to the far side of the field will go out of bounds. Casey's kickoff out of bounds. So the Saints will start from good field position up at the 40-yard line. Remember, that's what he did in the Super Bowl in that loss to the Patriots after the Panthers had scored a late touchdown, and he kicked off and kicked the ball out of bounds, enabling the Patriots to start from the 40, and they turned it into game-winning points. So the Saints will have it 1st and 10 at the New Orleans 40-yard line after the penalty. Casey kicking it out of bounds on the kickoff. Final 27 seconds of a very quiet third quarter for this Saint football team. Bauman looking to throw on first down, has a lot of time, and guns it incomplete, intended for his fullback, Carney. That would have only been about a 2-yard reception. He was covered by the strong side linebacker, Brandon Short.
Now listen, the NFL scoreboard is brought to you by Lennox Air Conditioning and Heating. Houston 27, Arizona 10. San Diego 16. Colts have now gotten on the board again with a touchdown. Indianapolis 10. Jacksonville 7, San Francisco 6. The Jets 17, Miami 10. Pittsburgh 13, Minnesota 3. St. Louis 16, Philadelphia 7. And Tennessee leads Seattle 24-21.
2nd and 10 for the Saints from their 40. Horn in motion. Play action. Bauman under some pressure, rolls to his right, looks downfield, keeps the football, now throws it incomplete, dropped by Stallworth at the 42-yard line.
Well, if I'm not mistaken, wasn't that Dante Stallworth down there on the sideline when we were talking about Michael Lewis down there playing pitch and catch with Devery Henderson? Mm-hmm. It was kind of that 3-man rotation right there. Well, it didn't help, Dante.
That's 2 drops unofficially by Stallworth. And we've had the 1 drop by Oz Hakeem, so Bauman's stats could be a little bit better with some better production from his wide receiving core. Joe Horn has only been looked to once today. That a 6-yard reception back in the first half. 3rd and 10 from his own 40 for Bauman in the shotgun. Panthers come with 3. Bauman steps up, dumps it off to Stecker, and he's going to be met around the 47-yard line, short of the first down. 3 and out for this Saint offense.
Well, we were making some remarks this morning about the article Joe Horn had the other day in the paper. If he doesn't get any balls thrown to it, he'll really have something to say.
We have reached the end of the third quarter. 15 minutes remaining. Panthers leading the Saints 24-7. This is the New Orleans Saints Radio Network.
Get the good stuff.
Hey folks, Hokie Gajan here for Napa Auto Parts with gifts for everybody on your list. Register to win an authentic Swin OCC bicycle, one given away per participating Napa store. Napa toy delivery trucks are just $19.99. A 38-piece homeowner's tool set with carrying bag is just $49.99, and a 54-piece outdoor tool set with bag just $59.99. And a 2006 Nextel Cup scheduled t-shirt is just $9.99.
Napa. Get the good stuff.
Only at participating Napa stores.
Hibernia is open for business, and we're ready to help yours. To help businesses get back on their feet, Hibernia is offering special unsecured small business recovery hurricane lines of credit. We also have business bankers available in the affected areas and have open business recovery centers to help with your small business needs. To find out about this special offer and how we are helping businesses, call 1-888-855-BANK or log on to hibernia.com. Hibernia Bank, where service matters. Member FDIC. Normal credit qualifications apply.
What does America need right now? Some freedom. Introducing our Miles of Freedom plan. Now until the end of the year, you'll get 2 full years or 24,000 miles of gas and scheduled maintenance on select Dodge models, plus a 5-year or 60,000-mile limited warranty. Visit Dodge.com/freedom to grab life and some freedom.
That's exactly what America needs, and what I need.
Maximum gas amount $23.67, 6,000 miles. Scheduled maintenance intervals for 2 years or 24,000 miles. See dealer for details and a copy of the mechanical limited warranty. Not available on Charger, Magnum, Viper, Sprinter, and SRT 8 models.
As Greater New Orleans rebuilds, stay connected to the latest with the Big 870 WWL.
Well, our crackerjack engineer, wrong way, Robert Carroll, will keep us posted on those games. Indianapolis is now taking the lead over San Diego, 17-16. Drew Brees was intercepted, and the coach scored after that, and they sacked him, and he fumbled the ball, and they immediately scored after that. So now, Indy, after going a long time without even getting on the board, is now taking a 17-16 lead.
On fourth down, the Saints will go for it. On the first play of the fourth quarter, Bauman to throw, pulls it down, drops the ball, and it's going to be covered up by the Panthers defensive end, Mike Rucker, at the 38-yard line. And Todd Bauman, after a fast start in this game, has been very reminiscent of Aaron Brooks, including that play right there since.
Well, I was going to say he ought to be an expert at that because he's seen it so many times.
This may be in the Saints playbook. I'm not sure. He rolls out. I don't think anybody touched the ball.
No.
He was being about to be hit, but as he rolled out, he simply dropped the football, and Bauman now has been intercepted 3 times and has fumbled once in this game. Panthers have it 1st and 10 at the Saint 38. Delhomme hands it off to Goings for a couple down to around the 36-yard line.
Well, you know, Jim has it. They showed a picture of him there on the screen, and, you know, he's gotten to the point where he's just so frustrated. He only had 2 words to say.
And they were?
I don't believe I could repeat that.
Yeah, his string here in New Orleans, I think most people believe will be over after these final 3 games, either by his hand or by the owners. 2nd and 8 from the Saint 36. Nick Goings dragged down by Grant after a pickup to around the 32-yard line.
Well, in these other 3 games, noon games that we're going to mention here, Jim, are because there's teams that have the same kind of one-loss record as the Saints, with Houston being one of them, and they're up on Arizona right now 27-10. San Francisco is the other one, and Jacksonville leads them 7-6 in the third quarter, and the Jets 17 over Miami with 10 points also in the third quarter.
Panthers will get credit for a team sack on the fumble by Bauman. The first sack of the day for the Patriots of Bauman, who's been pretty well protected. 3rd and 4 from the Saint 32. Goings again. Jonathan Sullivan hits him in the backfield and drops him for a loss on the play. He's congratulated by Dwight Smith and also by Ron McKinnon. Well, these are not good numbers. The Saints are 0-7 while trailing at halftime. They trailed today 17-7. They are 1-9 trailing after 3 quarters, which they were today 24-7. They are 0-6 committing 3 or more turnovers Panthers, and they have committed 4 turnovers here today, 3 interceptions, and the recent Bauman fumble.
Well, after this kicking during the break, I'm going to get Deke to bring up that stat that he brought in the pregame, that the Saints are 0-105 in some category in their history.
John Casey's 50-yard field goal doinks the right upright and comes back onto the field of play. So Casey had plenty of enough leg for it, but about midway up the upright, it hits it solidly and bounds back onto the field of play, no good. And so, with 12:42 to play in the fourth quarter, it's still the Panthers 24 and the Saints 7. This is the New Orleans Saints Radio Network.
It's snowing Sony at A1 Appliance and Electronics. Every Sony TV is on sale. A1 is your Sony Christmas headquarters with more Sony products than anyone in town. Make your Christmas sparkle with Sony HD big screens, LCDs, and plasma TVs. And get special no-interest financing until 2008. Give big Christmas gifts from A1 that you'll enjoy for seasons to come. And have a very merry Sony Christmas from A1 Appliance and Electronics. If you are Medicare eligible or caring for someone who is, you should know about the Medicare Advantage health plans offered by Tenet Choices. Healthcare Select, Choices Plus, and Tenet Choices 65. These health plans offer you more benefits than standard Medicare, a lot more. Call us or visit us online to learn about Tenet Choices Medicare Advantage plans. Call 1-800-631-8443. That's 1-800-631-8443. Or visit TenetChoices.com.
America is choosing Jeep brand, and during the Jeep year-end event, you've got even more to choose from. Choose generous year-end bonus cash when financed through Chrysler Financial, or get our Miles of Freedom plan. 2 full years or 24,000 miles of gas and scheduled maintenance, and a 5-year or 60,000-mile mechanical limited warranty. One great lineup, 2 great deals, only at the Jeep year-end event until January 3rd. Maximum gas amount $23.67, 6,000 miles scheduled maintenance intervals for 2 years or 24,000 miles. See dealer for details and a copy of the mechanical limited warranty. Offers exclude SRT 8 models. Jeep is a registered trademark of Daimler Chrysler.
The heart of the Crescent City is you. Stay connected to home with the Big 870 WWL.
This broadcast is presented by the authority of the National Football League and is intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this broadcast without the express written consent of the New Orleans Saints and the National Football League is strictly prohibited.
First and 10 for Todd Bauman and the Saints from the New Orleans 40-yard line. 12:42 to play. Saints trailing 24-7. One running back, that's Stecker, as Bauman looks to throw. It's going to be caught by Stallworth inside the 45, inside the 41 to the 40-yard line of the Panthers. First down Saints on a 20-yard reception by Stallworth. Saints are going to hurry things up, as well they should, trailing by 17 points. Bauman loosely brings them up to the line of scrimmage, calling the play as he does so. Stands in the shotgun on first and 10 from the 40-yard line of the Panthers. Throws over the middle. Catch is made by Zach Hilton, the tight end, brought down at the 33 of Carolina by middle linebacker Dan Morgan. That's a pickup of 7. Again, Bauman gets his team up to the line of scrimmage quickly. Less than 12 minutes remaining on first and 10. Make that second down. He throws to Hakeem. Looks like a good catch and is at the 22-yard line. First down Saints on an 11-yard reception by Hakeem.
Well, the Saints have gained more yard in these 3 plays than they have in the entire second half so far.
Yeah, the third quarter numbers were just abysmal for the Saints on first down and on third down. First and 10 here from the 22 of the Panthers. Rifling at the Stallworth. Diving grab, can't hold on to it at the 11-yard line. Inside Manning. Stallworth thought he had made it, but the officials say otherwise. Did not retain control as he went sliding to the turf at the 10-yard line.
Yeah, those third quarter numbers that you were talking about. In that third quarter, the Saints had 4 first down plays that netted a total of 0 yards, and they were 0 for 4 on third down. And the stat that Deke gave me earlier, in the Saints' history, if they're trailing by more than 7 points going into the fourth quarter, they're 0 and 105. So if it's a lie, Big Bellabia told it.
17 they were down heading into the fourth quarter here today. Second and 10 from the 22. Bauman guns it incomplete and almost intercepted. Minter pushed it up in the air. It was almost intercepted by Ricky Manning Jr. I believe, who was the intended receiver there? I think it was Stallworth. It was an incompletion nonetheless. And it'll bring up 3rd and 10 at the 22-yard line of the Panthers. Hakeem split out wide to the right. Horn, Stallworth wide left. Bauman from the shotgun. Has time. Delivers. Flag has been thrown. Stallworth makes the catch on the 12-yard line. Rolls forward to around the 11. There's a flag down in the secondary at the 16-yard line.
It looked like it was being thrown in that area where it might be like Wayne Gandy or somebody holding on the end of the line of scrimmage. I hope that's not it.
Well, the Saints think it stands, and it's a first down.
Holding defense number 30. This play has been declined as a result of the play as a first down.
The holding was on Mike Minter. Would have carried with it a 5-yard penalty and a first down. The play is also a first down. Saints will take that. With 11 minutes remaining in this game, it'll be 1st and 10 at the 12-yard line. Stallworth and Horn wide right, Hakeem wide left. Bauman in the shotgun as the Saints try to put some more points on the board after only registering a first quarter touchdown. Here's Bauman throwing, and it's going to be caught by Stallworth right in front of Lucas down around the 6-yard line. A gain of 6.
Well, Jim, those other scores again, as we told you, Indianapolis is taking the lead over San Diego 17-16. Houston leads Arizona 27-10. San Francisco's taking the lead over Jacksonville 9-7. And the Jets 17 and Miami tied up at 17 as well.
2nd and 5 from the 7. Here's Stecker fighting his way down to the 1-yard line. Aaron Stecker may have picked up the first down here. Depends on the spot of the football. And it is a first down. 1st and goal for the Saints as they hurry things up. Just over 10 minutes remaining. Saints trailing 24-7. Bauman trying to sneak it in, will not get there. He was stoned at the line of scrimmage by that Panther defensive front. Todd's not had a whole lot of success sneaking the football this season. Remember, they tried that out of a kick formation earlier in the year on 4th down. Didn't work. He was stopped earlier in this game. Stopped again here. 2nd and goal from the 1. They go to the shotgun. Bauman throws a fade route. It's intercepted. Unbelievable. Intercepted by Ken Lucas, with the intended receiver being Dante Stallworth. Bauman is intercepted for the 4th time. That one on 2nd and goal from inside the 1.
And it's not over yet.
Timeout on the field, 9:24 to play. Panthers 24 and the Saints 7. This is the New Orleans Saints Radio Network.
It was the rhythm of every day, the coming and going of neighbors, friends, and family. The simple goodness of life here that kept us together then and brings us together now. To the people of this region who have suffered so much, we extend a healing hand and the promise of hope for a new beginning. Slidell Memorial Hospital. Yesterday, today, and tomorrow.
Hey, there's a lot of uncertainty with the Saints right now, but there's one thing that you can always count on, and that's Hood, Ford, Lincoln Mercury in Hammond. Hey, it's Corey Johnson. For over 75 years, folks have counted on the Hood Automotive family. And remember, Hood, Ford, Lincoln Mercury has the trucks that are going to help rebuild Louisiana. The Ford F-150, the 250, Super Duty, Explorer, Expedition, Excursion, and more. Hood, Ford, Lincoln Mercury in Hammond. Call 985-345-1590 now.
We're all expecting big things this season, and Kirschman's has everything you need for the big games ahead, including sofas, sectionals, recliners featuring Lazy Boy, big screen TVs, and more. Kirschman's unbeatable buying power brings you the guaranteed lowest prices on everything for your home. Leather and microfiber living rooms, master to youth bedrooms, casual to formal dining rooms, bedding, floor covering, TVs, and appliances. So sit back and enjoy a season that hopefully will live up to your expectations. And if you'd like something more comfortable to sit back in, come to Kirschman's, where they exceed customer expectations.
Stay connected to the information you need to rebuild your life. The Big 870 WWL.
Todd Bauman intercepted on the fade route by Ken Lucas on second and goal from inside the 1. Bauman has been intercepted 4 times and has fumbled, so he has been responsible for 5 Saint turnovers. First and 10 Panthers from the Carolina 20. They're going to throw on first down. And it's incomplete. Flag has been thrown. Freddie Thomas may have interfered with Steve Smith up around the 40-yard line. Well, so much for the Panthers calling off the dogs.
Well, that's what John Fox going for the juggler here.
Pass interference. Defense, number 22. Automatic first down.
So they pick up the first down on the penalty by Freddie Thomas. And Jake Delhomme, it's just target practice right now for the Cajun out of Breaux Bridge. Came into this league in 1997 as an undrafted free agent. Run down some of the quarterbacks who were drafted that year for you in a minute. First and 10 from the 38-yard line of the Panthers. 9:19 to play. Panthers in control 24-7. Here's the tailback, Nick Goings, behind the block of the fullback, Hoover. Will Smith collars him after a gain of about 1, along with Ron McKinnon. Back in 1997, when Jake Delhomme came out of college, he was undrafted. 9 quarterbacks were drafted that year. Among their names, Jim Druckenmiller, Jake Plummer, Danny Werfel, Pat Barnes, Mike Cherry, Chuck Clements, Tony Graziani, Coy Detmer, and Wally Richardson.
There you go. And how many of them are in the league?
I know Jake Plummer is, and I think that's about it.
That's about it.
Jake Delhomme. Second and 9 from the Panther 39. Sideman in motion, backs off set. Give it off to the fullback, Hoover. Not much there. As Willie Whitehead makes the play from his defensive tackle position and drops the ball carrier after a very short gain of a couple of yards. This goes to show you what an inexact science the draft is. And Jake Delhomme, who was a Saint from 97 to 2002, on and off the roster, couldn't beat out Danny Werfel for the 3rd quarterback position on the team when Mike Ditka was the coach. And look at the career he's had when he's finally had a chance to play in Carolina. 3rd and 7 from the 41 of the Panthers. Delhomme gonna throw. Does, and it's gonna be intercepted. Intercepted by the Saints at the 39-yard line. TJ Slaughter taking it away from the intended receiver over the middle. So TJ Slaughter, who has seldom gotten a chance to play except on special teams, able to today because Melton was pressed into a starting role for Hodge. So Slaughter comes in passing situations, and TJ Slaughter has an interception for the Saints.
Well, make sure you watch this closely because you might see history in the making right here. Because I think the most interceptions thrown by a quarterback in a Saints game.
They're down by contact at the 44-yard line. First down.
Is 5. Which, of course, was Archie. Look at that. 7:43 to play. Timeout on the field. Panthers 24 and the Saints 7. This is the New Orleans Saints Radio Network.
You wouldn't want your favorite team to play only one side of the ball. So when it comes to insurance, why settle for someone that can only handle your auto policy? Bring your home and auto insurance to Allstate now, and you can save big on both. You deserve someone that can tackle more. That's Allstate, Stan. Are you in good hands?
Hey, football fans, to learn more, call your local Allstate agent. Subject to availability and qualifications. Allstate Insurance Company, Allstate Property and Casualty Insurance Company, and Allstate Indemnity Company, Northbrook, Illinois. glad you could come to my office today, Mr. Kenny, because I found the perfect job for you.
I guess you just have to know where to look.
That's true. And in this case, it's in Arizona.
Oh, but I don't want to move there.
What do you mean? You'll love Arizona. If you think about it, Mr. Kenny, Arizona's a lot like here, only with more cactuses.
It's cacti.
Uh-huh.
There's an easier way to find a local job. Visit NOLA.com. NOLA.com has more Greater New Orleans jobs and employers, so it's easier to find a job you love in the place you love. The best local jobs are on NOLA.com.
What does America need right now? Some freedom. Introducing our Miles of Freedom plan. Now until the end of the year, you'll get 2 full years or 24,000 miles of gas and scheduled maintenance on select Dodge models, plus a 5-year or 60,000-mile limited warranty. Visit Dodge.com/freedom to grab life and some freedom.
That's exactly what America needs, and what I need.
Maximum gas amount 2367, 6,000 miles. Scheduled maintenance intervals for 2 years or 24,000 miles. See dealer for details and a copy of the mechanical limited warranty. Not available on Charger, Magnum, Viper, Sprinter, and SRT8 models.
The heart of the Crescent City is you. Stay connected and informed with the Big 870 WWL.
Well, it's not like the Saints haven't had good field position. Their last 4 series have started at their own 40, the Panthers 40, their own 40, and here at the Panther 44 after the interception by linebacker T.J. Slaughter.
I mean, you're talking about taking away half the field there.
Mm-hmm. Archie Manning threw 5 interceptions against the Falcons in 73 and the Rams in 79. Todd Bauman has thrown 4 here today and fumbled the ball away once. On first down from the shotgun, Bauman throws short underneath to Stecker. Stecker runs to the sideline, upended by Lucas, who was bowled over by Stecker before, and he wants to show him what a man he is here in making the tackle after a 7-yard reception.
But he figured Aaron Stecker couldn't get that low to the ground.
And it'll bring up 2nd and 3 at the 37-yard line of the Panthers. Closest the Saints got in this game, 7-7 at the end of the first quarter. Their only points today. Out of the shotgun, Bauman looks to his left, now takes off with the ball. Going to run to the sideline, gets a peel-back block from Stecker, and runs out of bounds. Stecker came back and put Witherspoon right on his back. That'll be a 5-yard scamper by Todd Bauman. Well, some crazy things have happened to the Saints this season, most of them bad, but I remember that game. Probably, if there was a turning point to this season, it was probably the Green Bay game when they lost 52-3. And Todd Bauman had a linebacker intercept him, Nick Barnett, and bring it back 95 yards for a touchdown in that one. 1st and 10 from the Panther 32. Here's Bauman throwing low to Stallworth. He cannot make the grab at the 21-yard line.
Well, this NFL scoreboard is brought to you by A1 Appliance and Electronic. Houston leads Arizona 27-13. Indianapolis 17, San Diego 16. San Francisco leads Jacksonville by 2, 9-7. Miami over New York 24-17. Pittsburgh leads Minnesota 16-3. Philadelphia 17, St. Louis 16. And Seattle is now taking the lead over Tennessee 28-24. And that's your NFL scoreboard brought to you by A1 Appliance and Electronics.
2nd and 10 from the Panther 32. Devery Henderson wide right. Horn and Stallworth wide left. Bauman from the shotgun. Has time. Now he runs out of it and runs out of the pocket. Being chased by Karstens to the sideline. He throws the ball away. Nice catch by Horn, but 5 yards out of bounds on the far sideline.
And that's his only catch today.
Now, he had one earlier in the first half for 6.
Okay.
He had 1 catch for 6 in the first half. The only time besides that time the ball was even directed to the area in which Joe Horn was running. Now, you look back on this season, and I'm reluctant to do so really, but after that 2-2 start, that trip to Green Bay in which they lost 52-3 to a winless Packer team, and was all banged up, and the Saints lost Deuce McAllister, really maybe the turning point to this season. 3rd and 10 from the 32, throwing short to Stecker. Slips a tackle at the 30, down to around the 27-yard line. That'll bring up 4th down, and on will come John Carney. And you're saying, why a field goal down by 17 with 6 minutes left? Some of the fans that are still here and interested wondering that themselves. But John Carney, who has made his last 3 attempts. We'll get an opportunity from the right hash mark from 44 yards away. Saints try to capitalize on the Slaughter interception. Snap, placement, kick by Carney, has the distance, has the direction. The Saints have 3 and now 10 on the board. With 5:47 to play, it's the Panthers 24 and the Saints 10. This is the New Orleans Saints Radio Network.
Did you know that most of the world's greatest chefs prefer cooking on gas stoves over electricity? And safe, affordable propane gas is the fuel of choice in my kitchen. I'm Julie Bernard, and no, I'm not one of the world's greatest chefs, but my family and friends in Louisiana think I'm a pretty good cook. Propane stoves heat and cool quickly with the precise temperature control needed for the best Louisiana dishes. To find out more about this exceptional energy, go to www.louisianapropane.com.
What's the best way to buy auto insurance? At U.S. Agencies, the answer's easy. The best way is your way. U.S. Agencies makes buying car insurance easy and affordable. And you get to choose how. Stop by any convenient location, call them on the phone, or log on to usagencies.com. Get a quote, compare rates, even buy your policy. It's everything you need. 3 great ways. 1 great company, U.S. Agencies. Low-cost auto insurance that lets you enjoy the ride. Call them today, 928-9000.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Wow, they scanned my whole body from head to toe already.
With Thibodeau Regional's Lightspeed 64-slice CT scanner, even our smallest patients like how quickly and accurately we can scan their body. Faster exams mean less anxiety. The clearer, sharper images allow for quicker diagnosis and treatment. Thibodeau Regional Medical Center, continuing to bring you more, better, and faster technology.
As Greater New Orleans rebuilds, stay connected with the Big 870 WWL.
No challenge this half, but if there is, it'll be brought to you by Hibernia National Bank, the official bank of the New Orleans Saints. Right now, open a Hibernia personal or business checking account and get an American Traveler Metro Collection luggage piece free. Make Hibernia your official bank and trust all your financial needs with the one you know, Hibernia, where service matters.
Saints lined up like they were going to attempt an onside kick, and now they shift and line up more conventionally to kick it away. And if Smith is smart, he won't try to return it from his 5, but he will. To the 10. And he stops inside the 15, dances away from a would-be tackler up to around the 19-yard line. Steve Smith, with absolutely nobody to block for him, decides that he'll do what he can despite that, and is able to return it 16 yards. Well, the Saints go 18 yards in 6 plays in 1 minute and 56 seconds. After the T.J. Slaughter interception, they settle for the John Carney 44-yard field goal.
Well, we just heard that San Diego is now going ahead of Indianapolis 19-17 with a little over 6:41 remaining in the game.
Colts, of course, bidding for immortality, trying to fashion their 14th straight win against no defeats. On 1st and 10 from the 20-yard line. Keeping it on the ground with Goings. Ooh, is he punished. I think it was Colby Bockwald who stuck him. And drove the ball carrier backward. No gain on the play.
Well, you know, I mean, you got to think of Tony Dungy. I mean, that's a difficult situation to be in. I mean, do you go for history and try and go undefeated, or do you risk getting an Edgerrin James, a Peyton Manning, a Dwight Freeney, getting one of those guys hurt in games where you've already got everything? The only thing you're looking at now is the big prize at the end of the season, which is a Super Bowl win. So it's a tough situation that he's in.
But I think he said that they would continue to play their regulars and have today 2nd and 10 from the 20-yard line. Delhomme play action. Lots of time. Going to throw it deep down the far sideline, and it is incomplete. Freddie Thomas had Steve Smith boxed up along the sideline and well covered, and that pass was overthrown and incomplete.
I know earlier in the week he was talking to some of his guys, and most of them said, you know, I want to play because I want to stay in that rhythm. I want to know what it's like to be out there, you know, for 3.5, 4 quarters to keep my timing down and everything else. So, you know, that might just be eyewash on the part of some of those players, but, you know, they got to be thinking about it too.
3rd and 10 from the 20-yard line. You don't get this opportunity very often in your career. And with an so much on timing. You'd be reluctant to pull Peyton Manning. On third down, Goings takes the handoff. Flag has been thrown.
Penalty has been declined. Fourth down.
That was right guard Tutan Reyes. You know, you look at free agent acquisitions and how they've helped the Panthers. There's one right there in Tutan Reyes, a draft choice of the Saints who could never get on the field. He's the starting right guard for the Panthers.
Right, if I'm not mistaken, he came in Jim Henderson's first year.
6 years ago.
His first season.
Out of Ole Miss. Almost never active. Here's Jason Baker's punt. Fielded at the 37-yard line by Hakeem, who drops the ball. Covered up by the Panthers' Dante Wesley. Another turnover. The 6th of the day by the Saints on the muff by Hakeem. A 42-yard punt. Carolina gets the ball back with 4:29 to play.
Not near as much excitement in your voice when you said it that time as the last time you said it.
Yep. That seems like decades ago.
Isn't that the truth? You know, actually, I remember that season much more so than I do this season, I promise you.
Yeah, that won't be a muff. That will be a fumble because he had the ball in his hands and was making progress with it when he dropped it. So the Panthers will have it 1st and 10 at the Saint 36. Pitch to Goings, sweeping right side. Dwight Smith comes up to meet him. And the Saint, you got to give the Saint defense some credit. They're still playing with enthusiasm down there. They're still delivering some licks. There's almost nobody here to watch them.
It's a 30-second time.
The offense has given them no support, and yet the defense continues to play hard. Special teams haven't done much either.
I'll get you caught up on those other scores, Jim. Again, San Diego is taking the lead over Indianapolis 19-17 with 9:41 remaining. Jacksonville over San Francisco 10-9. The Jets right now 17. The Jets 20, Miami 24. So Jets still hanging in there. And Houston leads Arizona 27-13.
Saints with 6 turnovers today. 4 interceptions, 2 fumbles, 1 by Bauman, 1 by Hakeem. The Panthers have rushed for 135 yards, passed for 167, 302 in total. 2nd and 10 here for the Panthers from the Saint 36, 4:23 to play, 24-10 Panthers on top. Goings with some running room this time, breaking free, driven down at the 19-yard line with Dwight Smith on his back. 1st down, Carolina. Brad Hoover throwing a block is shaken up, and Jake Delhomme helps him to his feet and directs him to the sideline. Hoover was hurt earlier on special teams. That's a 17-yard gain. Well, the Panthers have got Dallas at home next week, and then they travel to Atlanta in what could be a very meaningful game. With a victory here today, the Panthers, however, will be in sole possession of first place in the NFC South. 1st and 10 Panthers at the Carolina, or at the Saint 19-yard line, just under 3:40 to play. Goings again with some running room to about the 10, and the Saints right now pretty much packed it in on both sides of the football. That's a 9-yard gain. Clock continues to run mercifully and shows under 3 minutes and 15 seconds to play. It's only a game for a fairly short time. When it was 7-7 after the first quarter, then the Saints had the fumble recovery that they thought they could turn into points when Mike Minter intercepted Bauman at the goal line. It was pretty much all downhill for the Panthers after that. All uphill for the Saints. Here's Goings, tripped up by Melton as he falls forward inside the 10. Wall and Whitehead mixing it up after the play. A gain of 2.
Got a bag head out there in the stands. It's got written in marks a lot on the front, "I'm not here."
Neither was the Saints offense. And a lot of people that are here wishing they weren't besides that fan. And not many here to begin with. 32,551 tickets distributed. First and goal from the 8-yard line, just over 2 minutes to play. Panthers trying to add to their 24-10 lead. Goings going into a pile at the line of scrimmage. And another push and shove going on. Jonathan Sullivan mixing it up. So the Saints growing a bit testy defensively, and that's understandable. That defense has been out there without much support from their offense much of the day, and particularly here in the second half.
This is the 2-minute warning.
2 minutes left with the Panthers on top of the Saints, 24-10. This is the New Orleans Saints Radio Network.
Bud Light presents Real Men of Genius. Real Men of Genius. Today we salute you, Mr. Eggnog Inventor. Mr. Eggnog Inventor. For years you toiled away, nog after nog, cauliflower nog, trout nog, the ill-advised pork nog. What the heck is nog? Until one day, it hit you right in the face. Raw eggs, heavy cream, and a 5-pound bag of granulated sugar. Recipe for disaster. Now that's refreshment. Kind of like a protein shake, only disgusting. So crack open an ice-cold Bud Light, Mr. Eggnog Inventor. And while you're at it, crack open another bucket of eggs for your nog. Mr. Eggnog Inventor. Bud Light Beer, Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis, Missouri.
Guest rooms have been completely refurbished, and all 3 restaurants are being renovated, as well as the famous Carousel Bar and Lounge at the Hotel Monteleone in the French Quarter. It's all part of a multi-million-dollar renovation of this historic treasure. The Carousel Bar is a great place to drink before or after the game. Enjoy a fabulous dinner prepared by Chef Randy Buck in the Hunt Room. Hotel Monteleone is also a wonderful place to have your wedding reception. Coming to New Orleans for the big game? Take advantage of special rates for football fans. Hotel Monteleone. Call 1-800-535-9595. As Greater New Orleans rebuilds, stay connected to the latest with the Big 870 WWL.
And let's pause 10 seconds for station identification on the New Orleans Saints Radio Network.
From the heart of the Crescent City, it's Entercom Communication Stations, the Big 870 WWL New Orleans.
Second and goal from the 8-yard line of the Saints. Kroll in motion. Delhomme, bootleg right, going to throw underneath. Catch is made by Mangum. He's ridden down by Josh Bullocks for a loss on the play of 2 yards. So Chris Mangum, a seldom used receiver at tight end in his 8th year out of Ole Miss.
He's a cousin to Pearl.
Is he really?
Yeah, a distant cousin, I know.
Pearl meaning?
Kevin Mangum.
The Saints assistant trainer. Fine young man. Out of Hattiesburg. Third and goal from the 12. Panthers in no hurry to get up to the line of scrimmage. Let's see if they take a shot at the end zone here in a passing formation. 2 wideouts to the left, 1 to the right. No, they'll run it with Goings, and Goings won't get anything. Jonathan Sullivan again, holding his ground on the defensive line and driving the ball carrier backward.
New Orleans is their third and final chance to take timeout.
The Saints will take their last timeout with 1:06 to play. Well, you look at this football team. Have they packed it in? Everybody wants to know, does this team quit on you? Has this team quit? Have they packed it in? Or is just the burden of this incredible season has finally caught up to this team through the last 2 or 3 games?
I think it's the latter. I can honestly say that, watching these last few ball games down the stretch, that the team hadn't just completely quit on Jim Haslett. It's just, they're just so battered and torn right now that, I'm surprised a little bit that the defense is showing as much spark down there on the field as they are right now.
Well, it's 4th down, and the Panthers will bring on John Casey to attempt a field goal from the left hash mark. This will be a 29-yard attempt by Casey. Should be a chip shot for him. He missed a 50-yarder earlier in the quarter. And John Casey puts it through, and the Panthers add to their lead. With 1:02 to play, it's now Carolina 27 and the Saints 10.
And let's go right down to Kenny Wilkerson with the Beta Springs Water Site sideline report.
Yeah, we got one fan walking up and down who's got half of a bag on his head, screaming defense. Not bad. Now here's the kicker. After the defense just came off the field just now, John Pease came over to Charles Grant with the binder in his hand with the pictures from the series. And Charles Grant looked at him and said, "Now I know we ain't going over what just happened, huh?" And John looked at him and said, "Yeah, I think you're right. Just put the binder back together and put it down on the bench."
Well, with the news that came out this week, and it's not terribly unexpected that Jim Haslett is saying that he wouldn't be back with this team, that he asked Tom Benson to fire him. Although Jim Haslett denied that, I think there is a lot of substance to it. He wants to be euthanized in a way. He'd like to be put out of his misery. He has one more year on his contract. He's probably not going to get a contract extension. That would be totally untenable to come back here on a one-year contract. The players know that. The assistant coaches know that. They're worried about where they're going to be next year, who they'll be working for. So the Panthers add to their lead, and the kickoff will go into the end zone, fielded by McAfee, kneeling for the touchback.
Jim, if I could kind of jump in on there with what you were talking about, one of the things that I've heard today is that Haslett had a conversation with Mickey Loomis about that. And one of the things that got back to Mr. Benson was along the lines of the resignation type deal with the confidentiality agreements that Benson usually tries to pull and tries to do and has done with certain employees, and some employees like Connie Colwell, for example, who took the deal and got his money. Who Arnold Philco did not take the deal and get his money. They've thrown and bantered around a bunch of different scenarios like that, but as we've talked about a number of times, let's wait for after the play here.
Aaron Stecker carries beyond the 25.
So many different scenarios. It's been very clear that from, everybody, as you're just stating, within the organization, within these sidelines and within this football team, he doesn't want to be here anymore. He just doesn't. He's tired of it. He's tired of everything that goes along with being a part of this whole thing. But like anybody else, he doesn't want to walk away from $3 million, and they're trying to figure out ways to do that. And also word is starting to spread around about his agent, Jimmy Sexton, already starting to talk to some other teams about where he could possibly land.
Second and a long 4 from the 25. Aaron Stecker breaking free, and he's beyond the 40 to the 41-yard line, as the Saints will not run another play. After a 15-yard gain by Aaron Stecker, they will pack it in, pack it up, go home to San Antonio. The Saints will be winless in Louisiana this season. Winless here in Baton Rouge as they fall to the Panthers by us.
Really only won one home game this year, and that was against Buffalo in San Antonio.
Although we have another home game coming up Christmas Eve.
Oh, yes, sir.
Detroit Lions there.
Yeah, let's see. Hopefully it'll be ending just about exactly now, 1 week from today.
So we can make a light flight home to New Orleans. Well, Todd Bowman, after a quick start, he was 5 out of 5 for 52 yards through the touchdown pass to Dante Stallworth at 23 yards. Things unraveled quickly after that. In his remaining 29 passes, he was 12 of 29 for 141 yards, suffered 4 interceptions, and fumbled the ball away. So your grade for Todd Bowman and the prospects did he show that he deserves to be a starter or a backup in this league based on what he showed today?
Well, some of the throws he made, absolutely, as a backup. But then, I would like to give him one more week to start with the offensive unit, the first unit, and get a full week of practice with him again. Let's go right back down to Kenny Wilkerson.
All right, guys, down here with Joe Horn. As Joe Horn's kind of walking off the field, a lot of fans out here waiting to see him. Am I wrong here? Did they take you away from this, or did they not throw it at you? What happened today here?
They doubled me up a lot, Kenny. Hawkins told me, he said, "Joe, you're not gonna beat us. We'll let 83 have 100 balls before we let you beat us. And they played a lot of double coverage towards me, but they were also man-to-man sometimes. So, man, it's just a frustrating year for all of us, man. And we just have to, these next 2 games, man, find a way to win a football game, man.
One catch, I guess, huh? That's what they're telling me in my ear?
Yeah. That's embarrassing, man, but that's the way it is, man. I mean, it's definitely not what I like, but under the circumstances, man, that's just the way it is right now. I can't tell you why. You know, it's a lot of different reasons why. It's not just the quarterback. You know what I'm saying? So it's a lot of reasons why, man, and we have to fix it. We have to find a way to fix that.
Well, obviously, you're talking about fixing things and having to deal with things that you have to fix in the offseason with this football team.
Without a doubt.
Not right now.
I'm not stupid. I'm sure there's going to be some things changed. And it has to be. It's obvious. We're 3-13. I mean, 3-12, 11, whatever it is. So if we're going to be a contender, we're going to be a championship football team, we have to make some major changes. I don't want to get on what kind of changes I think they should make. I'm gonna leave that alone.
You'll talk about it when the season's over?
Oh, without a doubt.
Thanks, Joe. All right, Joe Horn down here on the field. And, you know, after reading the article about him, Jim and Hokie, Brian had to sit down and Q&A with him this past week over in San Antonio, and he started to say a few things, and you can tell anybody that's paid attention to Joe Horn over the years, you know, they know that he probably said as much as he's going to say right now. When the season's over, I'm sure he'll have a whole lot more to say, and he'll probably be more outspoken than any of them. We're heading into the locker room. We'll talk to Jim Haslett. We'll talk to some more of these players in a moment, guys.
Personally, I like Joe Horn a lot more when he wasn't talking. He was a lot better receiver when he wasn't. 1 catch today for 6 yards. The Panthers had really been one of his favorite opponents. 64 catches for 989 yards and 9 touchdowns against the Panthers in his career. But he's clearly no longer the go-to guy on this team. It appears to be Dante Stallworth. And they'll be going back to San Antonio shortly. That is the end of our game with the score. The Carolina Panthers 27 and the New Orleans Saints 10. We'll be back in 60 seconds on the New Orleans Saints Radio Network.